me crazy. I'm just putting up a comment about all right, let me get the chat back up. Of course, it says the other one's still live. That drives me nuts. Okay, hi, Adian here. Isaac, thank you. Landon, good to see you. Arcadio, Daniel, Tactical Homesteads here. I don't know what, this has never happened until the last couple live streams we've done. And then they just keep booting us in the middle of nowhere for whatever reason. It's never happened before. Nothing, we haven't changed anything about our equipment. I know, you know, conspiracy theories are strong with this one. I know. It's like, why? Why would anyone care about what we're talking about? The 20, 30 of us, you know, sitting here talking, they don't care. You know, they don't think we're powerful, even though we know we're powerful. But I just can't shake it. I think they do it. I don't know why, but I think that they sabotage my live streams. Call me crazy. All right, Randall's back. Thank you. Robert's back. Hello, Tennis. Dustin Pribble's back. Yeah, Daniel. Ignore what Wes S says. What did Wes say? I didn't see what Wes said. It's easy to ignore him if he doesn't say anything. Yes, Isaac, feel free, of course. Actually, I'd appreciate that so I can subscribe to it too. I didn't know she had a backup channel. Those of you who don't know, the Patriot Nurse keeps getting banned. I'm a little insulted that I haven't managed to get banned yet. But Isaac's going to give us the link for her backup channel, and I would encourage you all to subscribe to it. Even if you never watch her stuff, just support her. She's pretty fearless. She's a married woman, so we can't talk about how cute she is anymore. She was pretty cute, though. Hey, Aaron. I don't know how she's doing. She might have. Zach is very well spoken. Zech. Wes agrees with you.
Of course.
He spells it with an H too. What is this? Yo, hi, my name is Zach. I spell it Zech. I don't get it.
It's pronounced as a K.
No, an H is not pronounced as a K.
No, not an H. A CH is pronounced as a K. I've been through this. King Jimmy is correct.
Yes, Reed is a blessed man, Isaac. She is a beautiful and courageous and intelligent young lady. What were we talking about? I was in full-throated roar again. See, they do it when I'm really going good, too. The other times they've done that to us, I was like, beep, and I'm gone. It's like overload. They can't handle it. I don't know if anyone remembers what we were talking about, but I'd like to finish the thought.
You have been throttled.
I have been throttled. Sack. Yeah. I had that coming, Wes. With 5.56, when you are firing at someone, they can detect where the barrel blast is coming from. Since the bullet is moving towards them, they cannot figure out where the bullet crack is coming from. So I have no experience with suppressors. I do not know if the suppressors, I guess they would mitigate the blast signature a little bit.
Did I tell you the story that when I went I went to do a bat job at some guy's house. He was an old guy, Marine, and I don't know how this story came up, but he goes, son, A bullet sounds different coming towards you than it does going away from you. I don't know why that came up, but
No, sir. No, it doesn't. Because it's faster than the speed of sound. By the time you hear it, it's too late.
yeah, he was pretty old. He was a cool guy.
Randall Davidson is trying to get banned from the channel.
What happened?
He said Stacey Abrams for Senate.
So she's not running for governor now?
Oh, yeah, that's right. She's running for governor.
I've decided I'm just going to go ahead and vote for her for governor.
Well, did you? Purdue is running against Kemp in the primary.
I know. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to run for governor, damn it.
I'll vote for you. Wes S. wants to know if you've had your T-shirts made yet because he has no life. I can't decide what I want to do, 80 in here. I don't know if I want to do, for those of you, we're talking about making a Revolting Man T-shirt, and I can't decide if I want to be serious or if I want to be funny about it. And Wes had a really good, funny idea. I can't remember what it was now. I was thinking about having one that, across the chest that said, "Yes, but your boobs are down here." I thought that would be funny. You know, my eyes are up here. Yes, but your boobs are, you know. So it's funny. It's revolting.
It is, yeah.
But the channel's not necessarily really about boobs. We do like boobs.
Can be.
It could be. Get a lot more subscribers. I know I want it to be some semi-tactical looking shirt, you know, green, tan, you know, brown, flat, dark earth type thing. But I don't know if I just want it to be like, you know, you know what? I was about to say, I don't know if I want it to have a boob comment or a Bible verse. And I should really do both.
Yeah, because they go together.
They go together.
They go together.
Boobs are very biblical. One more reason why you should be Torah observant, because boobs are all over the Old Testament.
You're Torah observant?
Yes.
You believe in stoning your children?
I mean, it's an option. It doesn't say you have to. It's not like a requirement that you have to stone them.
Don't you love it when people use that argument?
No one's brought that up yet.
No one's ever brought that up to you.
Well, maybe once or twice.
You have to explain to them, well, you do know that everyone that's ever been executed has been someone's child,
Yeah,
right?
that's a good point. No. I believe in stoning your children.
Yeah, not mine. Yeah,
Because you're a moron. And you shouldn't be allowed to procreate. My grandchildren could marry your grandchildren, for crying out loud. Insignia on the left shoulder. So what should the insignia be? Just a TRM?
it has to be an axe of some sort.
Axe. Rawr. We got a new
An axe and a halfway put together gun.
I paid way too much for this.
$5.
No, that would have been about right. I paid $25 for it. It was $40, and I was looking at it, and the guy walked up and said, "Give me $25 for it," and I couldn't. I'm just such an idiot. I was like, "Fine." The thing is, he was dressed up like General Pershing. I mean, literally, he was in a General Pershing uniform. He had all the medals. He had the mustache. He had the hat. And he walked up and said, "Give me $25 for it, young man." I'm like, "Yes, sir. Say yeah."
So was it 40?
Yeah, he said he wanted 44.
You should have walked outside. Just give me 40 for it, young man.
Yeah, he should have, because I'd have been like, such a weak-minded simpleton. Hunter Kirk is here. Shalom, Hunter Kirk. Should be a revolver and a tomahawk. I think a tomahawk is a good. And my favorite Bible story. Oh, do you know the Bible story about Ehud? This is what I want this T-shirt to be. Ehud was one of the judges. Best judge. I would make Samson look like a sissy. Ehud, the Philistines are oppressing the Israelites again, and Ehud's left-handed. This comes into the story later. And so at the time, the Philistines, or whoever, I think it was the Philistines, whoever it was could work iron. and the Israelites couldn't. And the Philistines wouldn't let them. That's how they were oppressing them. So the Israelites had to go to the Philistines to get their plows sharpened and everything, or their iron stuff sharpened. So Ehud goes down and gets this Philistine blacksmith to make him a 2-foot long sword. I think it was 2 foot. And he straps it to the inside of his thigh. And he goes to see the Philistine king to take the tribute that the Israelites owe the Philistine king. And he says, hey, I got a secret message for you. You know, I got to talk in private. And the king was this big old fat guy, really big and fat. So the king sends everyone out of the room, and Ehud goes to shake his hand with his right hand, and with his left hand reaches in and whips out this sword and plunges it into the guy's belly. And they said, the Bible says this now, he said it was so fat that the sword went all the way in and the fat came out around it, and that the dirt came out of the wound.
Never heard that, but I thought it was a woman that did that.
No, that's the tent peg.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
right.
that's a decent one too. So Ehud jumps out the window and runs off. And the king's retainers, because he's so big and fat, he's got bowel problems, so they think he's taking a dump, and so they don't go in to check on him for a really long time. And by the time they go and check on him, you know, the Ehud and the rest of they're long gone. How has that not been made into a movie? That's a movie. But he was one of the judges. Thank you, Bob Jones. I appreciate that, sir. That is a wedge driving hatchet axe for logging. Huh. It's heavy.
Is it worth $25?
Is it 26 for you? Just paid, for the low price of $26 plus shipping and handling. You can rescue me.
He'll even autograph it for you.
From a bad $30. It's $30 autograph.
I thought it was going to go down to 15.
Depends. Do you want it autographed Zach or Zetch?
We want it autographed correctly. So it could be Zetch. I don't know if you I guess if you autograph it incorrectly,
MI Preppers out. Good evening, sir.
it'll be more money.
Okay, the tribe of Benjamin were some of the greatest archers in history as well. Badass people. Not worth $25. I got one the same size for free.
You're just getting silly now.
What's a poppin', my ninjas? God bless the remnant. Bold as lions. Booyah, Mr. Yarbrough. So yeah, what's the logo? The tomahawk and just a tomahawk? I'd like to have a tomahawk, a Bible, and an axe. And then a funny thing about boobs. Yes, but your boobs are down here.
Any genres? Okay, so
There's too much going on. But
I told you about my attention span.
the tomahawk on boobs. But where's the Bible? It's underneath the boobs. So yeah, we want a t-shirt. I'm not trying to make money off these t-shirts. I will just...
Then why are you making them?
Because it's fun. It's funny. And all the cool kids have them, Pastor Fox got t-shirts. Bear's got
I
t-shirts.
bet they're not doing them for free.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't be free. I wouldn't be making money.
Thought you were a capitalist.
Well, not to start out. I mean, if it works and they're selling like hotcakes, then I'll be like, yeah, money.
Okay.
But yeah, if just a few of our closest friends want a funny Revolting Man t-shirt, I'm not going to try to capitalize. Look, I can't even get $26 out of Isaac for a world-class wedge driving hatchet.
All right, so you half price.
Half price. Randall doesn't think we should have the boob in there.
Well, definitely not just the boob. We got to have two.
It's not a mastectomy basement. The thing is, there's times and places where you don't want to emphasize our freedom. But in a world where, men are women and women are men and, everyone's supposed to be gay, transgendered, lesbian, seagull,
What are these right there?
spanking sticks.
Okay, all right.
We have lots of children. All right. There's two sizes.
Yeah, I see that.
Small children, large children.
All right, carry on.
Who the Father loves, he chastises.
I was just curious.
So, like, not boldly declaring that we're not going to get pushed into either two extremes, you know, because there's the, you know, the James Dobson, you know, church lady, men are evil, men's sins are the terrible sins on the one side, and the other side there's the licentious homosexuality, or God help us, the pedophiles, and so, you know, tongue-in-cheek promoting of boobs is declaring, no, we are not licentious, deviant perverts. We're not, you know, constipated prudes. You know, we're healthy men. Healthy men like tomahawks. They like the Bible. They like boobs. That's the boob thing.
Okay.
And the other thing is that certain types of women try to manipulate men from a place of moral authority. You know, and they're like, you're disgusting. You know,
And it could work both ways. If you have boobs on the shirt, people might think you're transgender.
I see you complicating me here.
Put a bottle of hormone blockers in there.
So, but telling them, I don't care about your moral outrage. You can disapprove of me all you want. I still like your boobs. Yeah, you're taking away that moral authority. You know, that moral authority. You're taking away that tool they have, which is one of the few they have to really manipulate me. The 3 B's: boobs, bullets, and Bibles. All a man wants. Isaac, that is brilliant. I should write that down.
But when he starts going capitalist on you, you're not getting any of the proceeds.
Not a one. Wish you'd have bought the axe now, huh? $26 is looking like a pretty good deal. The 3 B's: boobs, bullets, and Bibles.
In that order.
And Randall went from saying take the boobs out to saying now we need a beaver trap. All right, someone get Daniel's comment approved there. And Isaac wants his. I'll let the moderators take care of it. There we go. All right, Isaac. I tell you what, I will sign your T-shirt, Zetch. There's some things here you should know. In high school, there was this one of those little tiny kids but he was really smart and really like quick and not scared of anybody. And he used to call me Zetch the Wretch. So I've got a little bit
That
of
should have been your YouTube
yeah,
channel.
Zetch the Wretch. That'll be my backup channel. That's where we'll put the boobs. Zetch the Wretch.
Just the opportunity there.
All boobs all the time. Let's pray for a little Bible study.
Just
first.
not yours, Susan.
I mean,
No, we don't want to see yours.
all right. Brett wants to let everyone out there who happens to be a law-abiding felon, like myself, that the Texas LSS air rifle in Florida, at least, is legal for felons to own, faster than a crossbow to reload. I am a firm believer that if you can be trusted with a driver's license, you should be able to be trusted with a firearm, as the asshole in Wisconsin just proved. Isaac got called Isaac. Brett, can you have muzzle loaders and black powder? I think I've had other people tell me that. Oh, that was it, Wes. Thank you. If masculinity was toxic, I'd be dead. I think that's probably what we got to go with first. Yeah, that was Wes's idea that I was also going to steal. But I think we'll put it on the front. If masculinity were toxic, on the back, I'd be dead. And it works both ways. You know, if you see it back first, I'd be dead if masculinity were toxic. Or if masculinity were toxic, I'd be dead. Or maybe, no, that's what we do. If masculinity were toxic, I'd be dead across the front. And then on the back, we put
The boobs.
Back boobs. My masculinity is toxic too, and list all the things that masculinity is toxic to, oppression, tyranny, molestation, fear. You come up with a list of things that masculinity.
Kool-Aid hair.
Kool-Aid hair, yes. Yeah, lots of folks are telling us that felons can have black powder. Hey, look, some of those black powder revolvers, they're almost as good as a 38 special, at least. Little slower to reload.
That's why I carry 2.
Brett says that they can't. That probably varies state to state, Brett, because I think in Georgia they can. But obviously don't quote me on that. Go look up yourself. All right, so it sounds like we have some interest in a t-shirt. We will have
it to you by 2025.
Yes. You know how I do things. But what's the logo? How do I identify it as Revolting Man? Just TRM?
Just a beard.
Beard. Zeus says, I've seen a skinny dude pull 6 revolvers out of thin air. It's a good trick. That was a good show. Yeah, that's Dustin's right. You can get the black powder just shipped to your home address. Anyway, so we will start working with a t-shirt designer. Wes S has got a bead on one, and C103 has a bead on one. So I'm a little torn. They're both close friends. C103 is in my mag though, so.
So is Wes S.
Well, yeah, but he's in Texas.
C103's a pretty doggone long ways off.
That's true. Grid down, he might as well be in Texas.
He might as well be on the moon.
We could do several shirts. We wouldn't have to just keep it to one, because I think they can print them one at a time. I'll talk to Wes S's crowd. The 3 B's of masculinity. We'll have to start with, I don't know, some smart ass like, oh, men have boobs, huh? But we'll start working on a t-shirt. Yeah. It won't be as good as Koomp though. Koomp is pretty good.
Yeah.
2 axes, kind of like a skull and crossbones. Yeah, I like that. I had a business card from Adam here. Adam might let me use his crossed axe logo. Is pretty cool.
Then you gotta share revenue with him. You're already sharing it with Isaac. Now you gotta share it with him. Wes S.
I'm so far into Adam. He sends
75% goes to me.
free stuff all the time.
I'm me.
He actually just sent me a free knife that I might, if I have time tomorrow, I'll put a quick video up about it. Dustin likes the boobs, Bible, tomahawk, and revolver. I don't know how you work. How do you work the boobs? So we need a naked woman. That's what it is.
We went from boobs to a whole woman.
Well, just disembodied boobs are a little. We need a naked woman holding a open Bible in one hand, with a tomahawk and a pistol on her and a revolver on her hip.
No, we just need some boobs with little lights we can flash. Make it light up.
Oh no, I like the naked woman idea.
Of course you would.
Back when I thought I wanted I thought I wanted a tattoo for about 20 minutes when I was a kid.
What you got against tattoos, buddy?
I didn't say I had anything against them. I thought I wanted one for 20 minutes. And there's only 2 that
I feel you judging me.
I'm not judging. Like, all the things I have to judge you on, and you think the tattoos, you know how far down that is the list? But the only tattoos I would have wanted, I don't know what, this is a little weird, I admit this. I wanted a dragon that started on my shoulder and wrapped all the way down my left arm and the head, but the dragon was pink for some reason, and I don't know why. I think it was in some anime I saw.
Because you were smoking puff.
Yeah,
Major
it was
dragon.
bad. I mean, it wouldn't even show up. I mean, how would you see a pink dragon on my pink?
On your pale skin.
Yeah. Or the other one was I was going to get a naked woman on my outer left thigh and on my outer right thigh, and they were both going to be draped. One was going to be draped in the Marine Corps flag, and the other was going to be draped in the American flag.
Well, I'm glad you gave up on the tattoo idea.
Yeah.
You look pretty damn silly.
Yeah. Okay, or have a shirt that says my BOF is bigger than yours. Huh? And only somebody else who watches the channel would know what it means. It's pretty good. What's it matters here to reaffirm that the 20-inch AR is king? Booyah. Yeah, the Kirk says that sounds like an airbrush painting on a van. I like the my BOF is bigger than yours too. Yeah. I have to talk to. See, I think C103's t-shirt people have to make like a batch. And I think Wes's people might be able to do them one at a time.
You got a lot of friends. You need a batch.
I only got 16 friends because that's the only people who've liked this live stream.
It's early.
It's early. No, it's not.
This is round 2.
Yeah, Arcadio's getting it too. Pin-up girl with a tomahawk in both hands and a revolver on her hip. But where's the Bible? I think she's got a. Today I saw this tomahawk was this. It was huge. It was gigantic. It was bigger than my 6-pound axe in there, but it was a tomahawk.
So big you couldn't carry it.
It was that big. I'd already bought this piece of shit. Or I would have bought it was $65 for the tomahawk, but if I was gonna violate the Sabbath, at least I would have had something cool. Such an idiot. A van that says free candy. Bible verse behind her. What if she's holding the Bible in one hand and the tomahawk over her?
And it has to be open up to the book of Revelation.
Yes. I saw a white horse.
I saw a white broad with a tomahawk. And death followed with her.
The pinup girl has a Got Jesus t-shirt on. Oh. But no high heels. High heels are tacky. Makes it trashy if she's got high heels on.
She's barefoot.
Okay. So I think
She gets shirt. You are now pregnant.
that's it. She's pregnant. The pinup girl's pregnant. Don't do the chick as a logo. Do the caveman and have a chick modeling the shirts. Would her sitting on the Bible be sacrilegious? Interesting.
Who said she was sitting on a Bible? She's holding the Bible.
Well, but he's suggesting if you had the open Bible and there was a little tiny pinup girl sitting on the open Bible.
She's coming out of the Bible like a pop-up book?
Oh, she's sitting on it like a pinup girl, you know? With a tomahawk and a revolver on her hip. Maybe she'll have 2 revolvers and they'll be situated to give her a small degree of modesty for the most important bits.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't think we can give this to C103 because I think his hookup is actually his daughter-in-law.
What does she have against women?
Oh yeah, Isaac's right. Put a Song of Solomon verse about boobs under it. And the verse about selling your cloak and buying a sword. Actually, that should maybe be, instead of the Bible, maybe we should have that verse.
What?
The verse about selling your cloak and buying a sword. I should be writing all this down. I won't remember it.
You can go back and read the comments, can you?
That's a lot of work.
That would explain why she would be naked.
Yeah. Look. We have a winner.
That Song of Solomon is something else, man. If you read that Song of Solomon and don't question the standard narrative, then there's something wrong. You're not thinking through what you're reading. All right, Landon doesn't think maybe that the naked woman sitting on the Bible is a good idea.
Yeah, we could skip that. We'll leave that on the cutting room floor.
Prepper Truckin' really liked your white woman comment. Behold, I saw a white woman.
And hell followed with her.
And hell followed with her. Damn white women. Blue-eyed devils. Hello, Alexis. Someone's about to approve your comment. I don't know why it was held for review, except that possibly YouTube does not want to admit that a woman would watch this channel.
We're not assuming.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Okay. Sounds like my ex-wife, and hell follows with her. Rawr. Okay, so we got a naked woman. We got the Bible verse about sell your cloak and buy a sword. She's got a revolver and a tomahawk. But this shouldn't be the logo. Or this should be the logo.
Because the logo has to be fairly small, right?
Yeah, it's got
That's a lot of detail again.
it's a lot of detail. But it could be kind of, yeah, it'd probably be hard to do that small.
Only if I knew someone who drew very, very well. Could draw these concepts out.
Do you?
I do.
Oh, Zoe. That might be an awkward conversation. Luke 22:36. I think that's our sell your cloak and buy a sword verse. Well, we'd probably do the whole passage there where the two apostles are like, I've got a sword, I've got a sword. And Jesus is like, it is good. Because that's what he said. He said, it is enough. He's like, good job, man. Just do what Demolition Ranch does and write revolting man across the front. I thought about doing one that says, I'm revolting. But
And on the back, I am also a man.
yeah, I'm revolting and I'm the man. might be a little too derivative or something, esoteric, I don't know. You have to crunch that one together. I'm the man and I'm revolting. That would work.
I am the most revolting man in the world.
I do like Demolition Ranch's Demolitia, though. That's a really good. That's what he calls his fan base or whatever, his viewers. He calls them the Demolitia.
I mean, we're berserkers. How can you better than that?
Hey, Jimmy James, how you doing? The VS would be left breast pocket with the swords. Oh, Rude Dog wants a weapons check. You carrying?
Yes.
I'm in my kitchen.
I always carry my guns. We've been through this.
These arms are dangerous weapons. I'm not allowed to walk into any place that serves alcohol with my hands in my pocket.
Are you concealing them? Is that what
They're
it means?
concealed weapons. I'm not allowed to take them into a business that derives more than 51% of its revenue from alcohol sales. That's a very funny bit that Steven Crowder does about, he hates Steven Seagal. Hates Steven Seagal. And that's something he does making fun of Seagal. Oh, baby, they want a Revolting Wife t-shirt, too.
I'm not wearing a naked woman.
What's that?
But I'm not wearing a naked woman on my shirt.
She will. It's a Revolting Wife shirt. Who said it had to have a naked woman? That's why I was telling it to
A naked
you.
man on it.
Yeah, we're gonna put a naked man on it.
That's what I'm saying. I said my revolting wife is not going to have a naked woman on her shirt.
Oh, naked man. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, not,
Oh, you are saying
never
that.
mind.
I think it would be cool.
The naked man or the naked woman?
Naked. You don't know me at all. Oh, they want to put Isaac Davis holding a hatchet with your choice Bible verse tattooed on his arm or in a script. Put Revolting Man at the top.
Who wants to do that?
That's Aaron Goodman. (1A minus 2A equals negative 1A). Yeah, I like that one too. Route. How you doing? Kind of just popped in there out of nowhere. Good to hear from you. It's been a while. Well, someone approved that comment. I have all kinds of things I want to say about that. And the video may be demonetized if you take your clothes off without an adult rating unless you are educating people. I think taking my clothes off would
Be a bad
greatly
idea.
educating.
It would be a terrible idea.
I think it would be educating. This is your body. This is your body on too much sugar. This is your body. This is your body when you buy your gas at racetrack and they give you free candy.
Terrible idea. Let's don't do that. See, we lost people already.
William Ashley's like, out!
Didn't think he was going to take that comment serious. I'm gone.
This guy's nuts. Good night, William Ashley. One of my dreams is to go on the show Naked and Afraid. I could do it. In a heartbeat. But then they put me on there with some dude is what it ended up happening.
Have they done that before? Have they put two?
Yeah.
That's,
I would
don't even want to think about it.
I give up. You
win.
win.
I see another dude, naked dude walking toward it. I'm like, no,
Nope.
man, I'm getting back on that truck.
You know what? I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's
Still get a burger. Not you.
this $25,000 is not worth it.
You stay right there. Hey, Prepper Truck, and my email is therevoltingman@outlook.com. We'll do a Revolting Wife t-shirt.
She's like, mm-hmm.
What would it be though? I mean, because we do actually have very strict rules in our little cult about married women, and it's like we probably couldn't put.
There'll be a picture of her slapping you.
We couldn't put a logo across the chest because it would be drawing attention to a married woman's boobs, and
We should do a revolting wife head covering.
a revolting wife head covering.
It says, I'm with stupid.
I'm stupid.
Good idea.
I'm covered, but not well. Okay. Yeah, Bob Jones says don't put any skulls on it. I don't like the skull stuff either. Palmetto Paratroopers here. He says, this is the scariest movie I've ever seen. And you weren't here for the good stuff, Palmetto. We were getting naked earlier. It was educational. And because it was educational, we could make money for
I
it.
was walking home. 3-volting man was getting naked. That's where I draw the line, buddy. We will not be friends no more.
There's a hideous monster with an axe over there. My neighbor was on Naked and Afraid. His name is Angel. He was in Nicaragua with a skinny lady. See? Skinny women. There's this real narrow band. You know, too skinny, too fat. Yeah, they got to be right there in the middle. I just came on and Revolting Man talking about being nude. That's a picture I don't want to imagine. Why is everyone so negative on my naked body? I'm a handsome man. Look at me.
We believe you.
I'm good looking.
We just don't want to see it.
There's no homo shit going on.
We have subverted your expectations.
So, the great advantage of having 15 children. No one can ever accuse you of being gay. They can accuse me of a lot of things, but no one can accuse me of being gay. So I can make all kinds of jokes. Les Williamson says we are crazy. Nice, Isaac. All right. Well, what else we got? What's the bearded gringo t-shirt going to be?
Well, me and sombrero.
You and us are. Where's the joke? You and a sombrero.
I don't know. Me, sombrero, baton, bushcraft knife.
Wes, we need
Bushcraft knife's crossing the sombrero.
Wes, we need a good logo for the Bearded Gringos t-shirt. Maybe mine should say I'm with stupid.
I don't appreciate you saying that about your wife.
Maybe, could we, now we'll get a copyright. I got a copyright claim on the BOF video.
Because you had music?
And I had music.
I thought about that.
I thought it was free music, then, you know,
There's a certain clip. I mean, I thought you could only play like a certain amount of time.
I don't know.
And yeah, I don't know.
But it's just like, it's in the iMovie app where they, insert this song here. Like, okay, sounds fun.
That sounds like a
We've stolen all of your money for all of eternity.
that sounds like a scam.
This is a 17-minute video. We have 20 seconds of crappy elevator music, so we own the video.
Yeah, that was.
Daniel wants to know if I'm game for a BOF question. I would love a BOF question, Daniel. Revolting Man baseball caps.
Yeah, we don't wear baseball caps.
But some people do. Bob Jones says 15 kids is just an elaborate cover-up for being gay. That's an elaborate cover-up, sir.
It took some thought.
I mean, and it took some time to put together, too.
That was a master plan.
That is not an evening in front of the mirror with some makeup, you know, black eye, that'll make me look tough. Although, you know, when gay guys pretend to be straight, you know, the devices they use, they call their beard. Like, if a gay guy's got a girlfriend, they'll call it, it's his beard. So it makes him look masculine. Rude Dog has an I'm with stupid shirt with an arrow pointing straight down. That's funny. Are drum mags on your to get list? So I have a 200 round drum. Everything I've read, and it's kind of a gimmick, it's not a good one, but it looks cool as hell. Everything I've read about the drum mags is that they're just not quite reliable. So my plan is the 60 round stick mag. You know, it's like a doubled up. It looks like a regular magazine, but it's twice as wide. Even those though, because there's more things going on. So are AR mags double feed or single feed? Well, they're double stacked. So you've got these bullets, side by side, offset, moving up. I think it's double feed. The double feed is more reliable than the single feed. But even with the 60 round stick mags, you've got 4 of them side by side. Now they've got a neck down from four stacks to 2 stacks, and it just gives it an opportunity for something to go wrong. That being said, I think it's worth it. I'm not positive that the drums are. However, I am willing to be proven wrong. And if drums are reliable, then yeah, I would like to use a drum. Yeah, Palmetto paratrooper says drum mags equal feed malfunction practice. The Surefire 60 round I've heard has a decent reputation. The Magpul 60 round has a good reputation. Have you considered a belt-fed upper as a secondary option for the BOF? I glanced at it. It's a lot of weight. It's really expensive. And again, complexity. It also drains off a surprising amount of power. And I think all of the belt-fed uppers are also piston uppers. I could be very wrong on that, but I think they're all piston uppers. And I don't like piston conversions for AR-15s. If you want a piston gun, then buy a piston gun. There's good ones out there. Yeah, David Weekle saying that the AR mag is double stack, double feed. So when you've got those 60 round mags, they still got to condense down from a 4 stack, a quad stack, to a double stack. And it just gives opportunities for things to get bound up and not go right. Probably 999 times out of 1,000, it works fine, there's no problem. But it still gives the opportunity. The bearded gringo logo, bearded guy wearing a sombrero with Viking horns. Hey, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Aaron likes the Surefire 60s. Palmetto says take 2 30-round mags together. Here's the issue with that, Palmetto, is that usually when guys do that, they've got one facing up and one facing down. So you get into the prone, and now you've got the open end of your magazine down in the dirt. The magazine you're going to use next. And you can pick up a lot of crap that way.
But would that still be the case with the bipod?
No, because there's no open. The bottom of the magazine is down. What he's talking about is taking 2 magazines.
Yeah, I understand that, but normally on an AR, if you're prone, your magazine's in the ground. But with a bipod,
Oh, I see. So it might keep it up. Yeah, you're right. That probably reduces it. You're probably right. Daniel has a 50-round drum that has proven reliable. Isaac wants to know if I'll put backup iron sights on the BOF if you drop it on the scope and mess it up when in a fight. Aaron likes his piston AR, by the way. I am torn on the backup iron sights thing. This is just my personality. I'm kind of black and white, it's either or kind of, if I'm gonna have iron sights, then why? I don't know. I know it's a good idea. At the same time, if these scopes are reliable and if the scopes are a good option, then what am I worried about with the scope? You can, if you drop it, you can mess up iron sights too, especially backup iron sights. Those aren't very strong at all. So I haven't made a final decision on that. The rifle that's in the gunsmith right now, my light patrol rifle, will not have backup iron sights on it. It will only have a scope. And maybe that's a bad idea, but I'm gonna find out. Isaac says that Wrangler Star uses a Magpul 60-round drum on his Daniel Defense he carries around on his ATV. The other thing, keep in mind, I set all my stuff up for the militia. So lowest common denominator. I say that and then say I don't have backup iron sights. I'm such a hypocrite. So simplest, most straightforward, direct thing possible. Yeah, Rude Dog. Instead of taping your magazines together, there's a spacer that offsets them, so that you don't have one facing down, and that's a good option. Z-Man has a Piston AR, a T91 Wolf that works very well. Okay, Bob Jones says the double snail mag works great. That might be the one I have. It is a double round 200 round drum. It's got a double, anyway, it looks cool as can be. Wes S actually Biddy gave it to Wes S to give to me. The 120 KCI Gen 2 is reliable. I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one, James. Oh, Palmetto Paratrooper, you didn't. Oh, how could you? Did you see what he said?
I'm amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a big fan of the bearded gringo.
I thought he was. I did save his life. He should be. Didn't want to have to go there, but you brought it up.
He didn't, I did. Oh, you did. You brought it up.
That's why I went there.
He says having a mag down in the dirt is okay if you run an AK. Okay, you know what? I'm going to let you have that one. It was funny. Good job. All right. Isaac says iron sights break, scopes break. Having a backup is great. If a backup for a reason, it's a backup for a reason, just insurance. You know, Isaac, part of the issue here for me probably too is just the era I served in the Marine Corps. And we didn't have backup. We had our primary sights and that was it. Okay, Jimmy James is saying he's got a 120 round Gen 2 double drum and it's worked good. It was funny, Palmetto. I'll give it to you. Have you set up a line of fire for your 4 to 6 man fire team on paper yet? No, that is coming in the next smut video we do. We will do an introduction to fire on the next smut video, and I'll probably whiteboard. I might whiteboard that one. I don't know. I'm going to try to come up with some way to demonstrate it, so I'm not just talking. Hunter Kirk broke the bayonet course M16 dummy rifle. We didn't use a. Lynette's posting spam.
What is that?
I think it's supposed to be a link, but she can't post links on my channel, so it didn't come up right. But I think Alexis also earlier posted something similar, so we're being spam. We don't have women watching our channel. We have
Lynette,
spammers.
show us your tits.
Converting to piston operation solves a bunch of problems.
So there's just random people out here, women, watching the channel for no reason, just to put spam on it.
That's probably a bot. It's
Okay.
probably not even a real person.
All right.
Okay, Bob Jones says, converting to piston operation solves a bunch of problems direct impingement causes.
Does that bot count as a person watching?
What bot?
The bot.
Oh, the bot. I think so. Yeah.
Send more bots.
Yeah, more bots. We'll get Isaac all over it. He'll take care of all of them. Yeah, so the piston has its advantages, but direct impingement has advantages too. So the piston keeps heat out of the bolt carrier, and it keeps carbon out of the bolt and the bolt carrier. But that's pretty much its only advantage. So it adds weight, it actually adds complexity, it adds reciprocating mass. So now you have more felt recoil, you have slower follow-up shots, and lots of times that piston is moving, I think every time, I think on every system, the piston is moving before the bullets left the barrel. So now that piston starting to move affects your accuracy. Then there's carrier tilt on some systems. Not all systems have the problem. And then, of course, it weighs more. So there are some pretty severe disadvantages to piston systems to begin with. Direct gas impingement is not perfect, but its downsides are ones that can be mitigated by a trained rifleman. And its upsides, lighter weight, increased accuracy, are things that benefit a trained rifleman. You know, the AK-47 is a fine weapon for an untrained farmer. But we're talking about war fighters. We're talking about men who are interested in and dedicated to their role as protectors. And we can be riflemen. You know, in America, we have a tradition of being riflemen and competent riflemen. And for us, the AR-15 and the direct gas impingement, not only is it, you know, the quintessential American rifle, but it's the better choice for us, at least for us here on the East Coast. You could maybe make some arguments out on the West Coast, but I think direct gas has a lot of advantages in the functioning of the rifle. All right. Let's see what is, I missed some stuff on that speech I just. All right, what ammo do you plan on getting for the BOF? Reed and Patriot use the Israeli surplus 77 grain OTM rounds. That's exactly what I plan to try first, Isaac, is those 77 grain IMI rounds. At least for the DMR side of things. I think the 55 grain junk is probably fine for the the binary trigger mode, but I think for the DMR I want to try those 77 grain Israeli rounds. Isaac says, fun fact, AKs suck. Hunter Kirk is SKS for the win. I'm not sure what win that is. Don't remember any war the SKS won. Interesting. Here's a little thought experiment for you to try, a little puzzle for you to suss out. What war did the AK-47 win? You're going to say one, and when you do, I'm going to tell you you're wrong, and you're going to be a little butthurt. Daniel says something about X products drum. Oh, is the drum he uses. Wes says if you put slow mode.
I was going to say, Russia and Afghanistan, but wouldn't both of them using the AK when Russia invaded Afghanistan?
No, the Afghanis were like using old bolt action Lee Enfields. But no, so, well, here's the deal. Russia wasn't using the AK-47. They were using the AK-74, which functionally works very similar, but it used a completely different round, much more like 5.56. It's 5.45. But yeah, so Russia stopped using the AK-47 in 1974, right after the Vietnam War, because they saw the downside to the round, at least. Wes says if I put slow mode on the chat, it stops the bots. All right. I will try to figure out how to do that. Okay, Aaron Goodman uses Norma and IMI 62 grain SS-109 as my main battle round. And he uses a 75 grain Winchester hollow point boat tail for his 5.5 inch AR and DMR. I'm interested to know how that 75 grain does in that 5.5 inch barrel. Probably better than the light stuff, I would imagine, because it's moving slower, so there's more dwell time. Bullpup 50 cal by Barrett. I like it. Okay, Bob Jones says it does weigh a little more, but how much weight have you already shaved off the saw? Fair amount. As I recall, totally off the top of my head, this is 25, 30-year-old information. I want to say the saw weighs 12 pounds. Empty. But it could be 17. Maybe it is 17. Because I think the 240 Golf was like 27. Well, between 12 and 17 pounds. Someone can look that up for us too. And complete, loaded with a full magazine, the BOF rifle is 11.5. Okay, what's it matter? It says my Piston ARs are no more or no less reliable than my direct impingement rifles. They wouldn't be any more or less reliable on the range. What's it matter? They're heavier and have discernibly more recoil. Piston guns are great when you're running a short barrel and a can. Yes. Completely agree 100% there. Palmetto Paratrooper says the AKA is great if you don't have time to clean your rifle constantly and you're actively fighting in the real world where there's a lot of dirt and water, etc. Thank you, Palmetto Paratrooper, for bringing up this. I'm going to be gentle, brother, because I love you so much. And this is the greatest myth surrounding the AK-47. This myth is why I hate the AK-47 so much. In-Range TV has some excellent videos called mud test videos, where they take rifles and they cover them in mud and see how they perform. And the AK-47 fails on the second round because the AK-47 is a very open design. There's all these holes in it that the ejection port and all that, right? There's this big, huge hole. And so stuff gets in there really, really easy. And when it does, I don't care what kind of machine it is, I don't care what the mechanical tolerances are, when stuff gets inside there, it's gonna gum it up. And the AK-47 fails that dust test quick, hard, fast, and in a hurry. The AR-15 doesn't even stutter, doesn't even know it. And they leave the dust cover open too and do it. And the AR-15 doesn't even know. So here's the truth about the AK-47. If you put an AK-47 and an AR-15 side by side on a range, and you just started doing mag dumps, if you're using good ammunition in your AK-47, because the shit Russian ammunition has a lot of failures, but if you can eliminate ammunition-related malfunctions, and you're in a range environment, yes, the AK-47 will pump more rounds downrange before it has a failure than the AR-15 do. Both of them will be in the thousands of rounds. I think when the Army did this test back in the 70s, I think the AK had like 2 malfunctions per 10,000 rounds, and the AR had like 4. Technically twice as much, but it's 4 in 10,000, versus 2 in 10,000. We're talking about a distinction without a difference. Now take both those rifles and take them to the field, have your shit Russian ammo in your AK, and then be in a field environment where dirt and leaves and mud and crap can egress into the AK-47, combined with the garbage ammunition, and you have a significantly less reliable rifle in the field in the AK-47 than you do in the AR-15. I am an AR-15 fanboy, I admit it up front, but I'm an AR-15 fanboy because it's a great rifle on every front. So the myth of the AK-47 reliability is in one very specific situation, and it's not the situation we need to be concerned about. We need to be worried about the field, not the range. Thank you for letting me get that off my chest.
I mean, if I was living somewhere where everyone owned AKs, I would own an AK.
Yes, me too.
If I'm living here,
Yeah.
everyone owns
Yeah.
AR, I'm gonna own an AR.
Yeah, if I lived in Soviet Union, or Russia, or one of those countries where what the oppressors were using was the AK-47, yes, I would have the AK-47 for that reason. Because it's not like it won't shoot. It's not like it won't kill you. We're talking about differences around the margin. The AR-15 is better by a large margin, but it's still by the margin. We do have a woman. Deborah Perry. She says, hello from Arkansas. Thank you for the information. Deborah Perry, thank you for being a woman and dropping in on our chat. It's nice to have you.
I'm wondering which information, though.
Yeah, well, hopefully she hasn't been here too long. The Palmetto Paratrooper is making peace between the AK fanboys and the AR fanboys. Let us rumble, Palmetto Paratrooper. We like it. Oh, Adioneer says you can also set the chat for subscribers only mode. I did not know that. We will do that one night. We will have a subscribers only chat.
It's a good idea. They keep playing. That way they have to subscribe.
They have to subscribe.
So
Oh,
they can chat.
I've missed a bunch of guys. I might have to skip forward on the chats to catch up because I'm way behind. Palmetto Paratrooper says the problem I see with the AR platform for militia use is a severe lack of logistics that will inevitably be involved. There's not going to be some rack on a base to sit on and maintain your weapon. very true. The counter to that is that the AR was always designed to be they could be serviced by standard industrial supply chains. Now, it's not like you can go to, Caples Industrial Supply or, Fastenal or something and get AR-15 parts. But all the parts for the AR-15 are standard industrial type materials and processes. And also it's very, very, very easy to stockpile because the parts that break are the extractor, the bolt basically. The bolt is the part that breaks. And of course barrels wear out. The other thing about the AK-47 is that technically the barrels wear out much, much faster. Like a third of the lifespan on the barrels on some of the cheap Soviet stuff. Like 5,000 rounds compared to 15,000 on the AR. All right, Palmetto tells us that the saw is 18 pounds empty. So I've saved 7 pounds on BOF rifle over the saw. Bob Jones says, just run M855 out of that 24-inch barrel. You have blistering velocity. You're quite right, Bob. You are far behind on the chat. Okay, Isaac, I'm going to go quick. Okay, something about Afghanistan. Palmetto Paratrooper, do you guys have a left hand or ambidextrous trigger man? I have, the BOF rifle has an ambi trigger, but that's the only rifle I have that's ambi.
I think somebody like man, not the rifle.
Are you left-handed?
No.
I'm not right. Some of my sons are left-handed. I don't remember which ones though. Is it the older boys? It's the younger boys who are left-handed, right, baby? So they're not there yet.
Why does that make a difference?
With the AR, it doesn't. Except that you want to make sure that your safety, if you look at the safety on your rifle, it's on the left side of the rifle, so you work it with your right thumb. Mm-hmm. But if you're shooting left-handed, then it doesn't work quite well. So you want to have a safety that's the switch on the other side. It's not a hard.
I thought safety was just stop pulling the trigger.
Oh, well, maybe the 240. Daniel is saying the 240 Bravo was 17 pounds. I was thinking that the 240, we use the Golf, not the Bravo. I was thinking that it was over 27 pounds. But I only had to carry it a couple times. I didn't have to carry it that often. The SKS was used heavily by the commies in Vietnam, so there's that one time. Yes, if you consider Vietnam to have been a win for the commies, we lost, I think it was 56,000 men. We think we killed 6 million of them. You can call that a loss if you want. I won't argue with you. I probably won't ever let you figure the tip at a restaurant, but I won't argue with you. The AK-47 was built to function when it gets dirty. The AR-15 was built to not get dirty. That's a good way to say it. All right. Prepper Truckin says the 240 Golf was 16 pounds. He would know better than I would. And the 50 cal barrel was 26 pounds by itself. Aaron Goodman likes the Galil. I was looking at a Galil today, Aaron. It was $1,800. But, for $1,800, you can make the AK into a serviceable rifle. That was petty. What'd I miss? I skipped some stuff. I still believe the 20-inch AR with a front sight gas block is the most reliable and effective tool available to the common man. I agree with you. What's it matter? As far as simplicity and flexibility and capability, I think you're 100% right. Palmetto Paratrooper is correct. He will never give any credit to the AK platform because he hates communists, which is not a bad argument. I agree. Hunter Kirk, Galil in 308, not a bad platform. Okay, I don't own Fourier. Daniel agrees with Palmetto.
And yes, he will take your 50-round drum.
Yes. Fortunately, if the militia is needed there, it will probably be AR-compatible mags laying everywhere. Yes. Exactly. Revolting Man, do you want a 50-round drum I'm offering? I would, yeah, I'd love a 50-round drum, Daniel. Mark, hey, Mark, how you doing, sir? The BOF rifle also shoots slower, therefore easier to provide logistics. Yes, a much lower rate of fire means less ammunition usage. Kay doesn't own firearms, but if he did, he would own an AR platform. Daniel says he meant 27 pounds. Palmetto Paratrooper was the saw gunner from the time he got to a unit to the time he got out. Isaac likes the M855 in that long barrel. Clay Van Brimmer says M16A2 equals butta jam. He says he never actually had to use his, and then the USMC issued him a Beretta 9mm. Okay, Palmetto Paratrooper got us the information on the saw. The saw is 18 pounds. I'll just read you all of this since he was nice enough to go get it. Length is 30.75 inches to 36.25 inches. Weight is 17.95 pounds. Caliber 5.56. Maximum effective range 800 meters. Area target 600 meters point. Rate of fire 700 to 850 rounds per minute. Where is the AR-10 argument? Heavy, but tuba. AR-10. Go.
You talking to Tubin or are you talking to me?
Talking to you. He wants to know what the argument is for the AR-10.
I mean, the AR-10 is awesome. Shoots a 308. That's Felon on it.
I agree, 100%. I don't know. So the logistics issue takes this conundrum out of my hands, so I don't have to answer this. Because the oppressors used the AR-15 and the 5.56, I need to, God, look at that belly, holy hell. I need to use the AR-15 and the 5.56. However, the case can be made very easily to me that the AR-10 and the 308 is the better. We should be using a battle rifle, full-size battle rifle. But there are still advantages to the 5.56. You can carry more ammo. That shouldn't be undervalued. That's a big issue. But I love the AR-10, and I think the 308 is a great round. And we're back to the Mark 19. And Isaac says we just need to repeal the damn NFA and end this problem already. And now you need to make a 308 BOF. That would be a lot of fun. Expensive though, but fun. At some point, we're just going to have to get comfortable ignoring the demands of tyrants. Yes. And in fact, they're not going to be able to enforce their statutes much longer anyway, as we see in the cities. They're already losing control of the cities. God help them if we ever decide to stop. Listen, the only reason they can control us is because we let them. Yeah, everyone likes the Mark 19. Isaac lives in a 10-round limit state. I'm already used to ignoring tyrants. Careful. OPSEC. And Clay says he would take a suppressed 17. I'm assuming that means HMR. Or 22-250 and the high ground equals back straps on the trigger grill for us all. Set me with the roller delay is better than the AR-10. Interesting. I say this, they had a problem. They were never able to get the Set Me or the G, was it the G3 that came after it? They were never able to get it highly accurate. So like they were never able to make a sniper or a DMR variant. It just wasn't accurate enough. But I love the roller delayed idea. Is it better than the AR-10? I am not smart enough to know. My fanboydom, though, not fanboydom. You know, I'm a fanboy for all things Eugene Stoner. Except the AR-180B. I had an AR-180B and it was shit. It was garbage. I thought. I sold it. I would still rather have the AR-10, I think, than the Setme/G3. Daniel says, keep on resisting, brother. Mark Chase likes the AR-10 and 6.5 Creedmoor. Palmetto Paratrooper says that the wife suggested y'all come out here for Passover. We are actually coming out there soon. I'm not entirely sure when. Probably won't be for Passover. We've just got too many people we have to take with us for that. But we will be coming out there soon, within the next 3 to 4 months. Have you ever seen an AR-18? Our buddies in Ireland love them. So Isaac, yeah, no, the AR-18, what the Irish loved was the AR-180. The AR-18 was a shotgun, I'm pretty sure. But the AR-180 was after Armalite sold the patent for the AR-15 to Colt. So we need a little bit of history here. I'm sorry. Armalite hired Eugene Stoner, who was an aircraft engineer, to come design rifles. And so he designed the AR-10. And then they decided to downsize it into the AR-15. And Eugene Stoner had already moved on to other projects. He was involved. He specifically designed the 223 Remington round for the AR-15. But he handed off a lot of the work of downsizing the AR-10 into the AR-15 off to a guy named Jim Sullivan. And Jim Sullivan, he did things like, the charging handle in on the upper rear, that was Jim Sullivan. Eugene Stoner had it. It looked like an upside down trigger inside the carry handle. And there was a few other, the vast majority of the downsizing of the AR-10 to the AR-15, and then some of the design elements that became iconic are actually Jim Sullivan, with Eugene Stoner sort of overseeing, but he'd already moved on to do other things. So Armalite tries to interest the military in the AR-10, because they had just been adopting the M1A1, or the M14 we all think of it as. And the M14 is really a shit rifle, and I'm sorry to be insulting to those of you who like it a lot, but it's not a good military rifle. And it didn't, especially it wasn't good for what they wanted to do, which was to be an everything rifle. So Armalite tries to get the military interested in the AR-10 as opposed to the M1A1, and it goes nowhere. They're less like, the Army Ordnance Board is like, no, this is our rifle. They designed it. It was based on the greatest battle implement ever designed by man, the M1 Garand. They had what they wanted, and they said, no, you go to hell. So, they sell the designs to Colt then at this point, because they don't have any use for it. They're not going to get any military contracts. But they have downsized it into the AR-15. They sell it to Colt. Well, Colt has lobbyists. And so Colt actually, they go to a garden party. This is no joke. The Colt lobbyist is at an Air Force garden party where an Air Force general was drunk in the afternoon off of spiked lemonade. I am not even making this up. The spiked lemonade part might be apocryphal, but he was drunk at a garden party. I think this was in Colorado. And back then, the Air Force used 22 trainers at their boot camp, and then they used M1 carbines for their airfield security. And they wanted the jet age. They wanted to upgrade all this stuff. And the AR-15 was black and it was plastic and it looked very space age. And so the drunk Air Force general agrees to buy a couple like tens of thousands of them for the Air Force for training rifles and for airfield security. And that's how they get them into the military system. Then John F. Kennedy and his merry band of idiots comes in, and they decided to make the AR-15 the main rifle for the whole military. Now, they got that part right, but they did it for the wrong reasons. It's because Colt lobbyists, that's why they did it. It just happened to be the right decision by accident. Okay, so Colt, that's a long story. Colt gets this huge, giant, lucrative military contract now, and they've supplied the new rifle for the entire United States military, and Armalite's head goes, ah, what happened? Ah, you know. This is this huge thing that could have taken Armalite from being this little tiny, experimental design company to being the biggest arms manufacturer small arms manufacturer in the world. So they start scrambling. They're like, what do we do? What do we do? So they get Eugene Stoner to design a competitor for his own AR-15. Problem is, they've sold all the patents to Colt. He can't use any of the AR-15 design elements to do this. So he has to come up with a whole new design, and what he comes up with is the AR-180. And it becomes a very influential design. The vast swaths of the military rifles in the world right now that are not the AR-15 are actually direct copies of the AR-180B. At least it's bolt, and it's recoil spring. Vast swaths of them are just the AR-180B. But the rifle goes nowhere. The Irish liked it. Singapore used it. Japan made it for a while, but they didn't use it. It's a very influential design, but Armalite sells almost none of them. It used a proprietary magazine. It didn't even use the AR magazine. I'm missing all kinds of chat, guys. I'm sorry. So this rifle goes nowhere, and Eugene Stoner moves on, leaves Armalite, and you all know the story. Colt, the M16 goes on to be what it went on to be. Later on, Armalite brings back the AR, a new company under the name. They're using the name, but it's not the same company. Brings back a version of the AR-180. They call it the AR-180B. And I think they changed it to use the AR mags, and they made a few little tweaks here and there, but it's basically the same thing. And I end up with one, because AR-15s just weren't readily available at the time. And I'd been shooting Mini 14s, and I ran across this AR-180B in a gun store, and I didn't have the money, but I bought it. Actually, I guilted my first wife into buying it for me. I was not a well man at the time. And it was loud, and it recoiled. I mean, the recoil didn't hurt, but there was just a lot of jump. And so it was very loud, and there was just a boom, and it's just a 5.56, and there was just, it was just a stupid rifle. I was like, what the hell this is ridiculous. The AR, it was heavier than the AR-15 much, because it's got this big heavy bolt and this long guide rods and two springs.
Just read that comment right there.
Which one?
Palmano.
Sounds to me like you should spend a little less time studying the history of AR and a little more time firing it. Anyway.
He backed out of it.
I'm very impressed, actually. I didn't know any of this.
Damn, Palmano. The respect has dropped.
Yeah, and Mark is adding some information. So I was very disappointed in the AR-180B. Prepper Truckin sent verification of his accomplishment.
Was anybody doubting it?
I don't know what his accomplishment was. Okay, Daniel, what is your message? Because I'm sorry, I was on a roll, and
He's a welding fabricator.
He's a welding fabricator.
Mm-hmm. That might have been on the last stream that we've done tonight.
Let's go back and see if we can find Daniel. You have to tell me how to get a hold of you, brother. I'm sure the post office won't accept. Send to the revolting man on the East Coast. Oh, this is about the 50-round drum. Shoot me an email at therevoltingman@outlook.com. I am skittish about giving out my address. I'll be honest with you.
But he has done it before.
I have done it before. Okay. That's my therevoltingman@outlook.com. I had to get an email, you know, like a anonymous type email because my regular email has my last name in it. And when I first started this channel,
He's given that out before too.
I've given that out before. I used it to communicate with a guy, and he used it to run background checks on me. He ran like 4 background checks on me, and then emailed me all the results from the background checks. And I was like, "You want to meet for coffee?" I was like, "I don't have a choice now, do I?" He ended up being a good guy, but I was like, lesson learned. Mike, if you're out there, hi.
I think I know this guy.
No, you don't.
I think I do.
Oh, do you?
Pop star singer.
Pop star singer. You'll have to tell me when the live stream's over.
All right.
But ended up being a good guy. He brought his family up. I met his kids and his wife, and we spent the day together, and it was nice. Shoot him an email. Mark remembers when the Air Force adopted the AR-15. He was stationed at Ramey Air Force Base in Puerto Rico. I did not know there was an Air Force Base in Puerto Rico. I just thought there was Roosevelt Roads. Double tapping hillbilly. Whatever address you're comfortable with me having. I'll give you Jeff's address.
And it is. I live at 1689 Fuck Off Avenue.
Actually, he lives 5 minutes from me, so that's still too close. Recoil impulse is AK-like, but the one example I've had experience with worked really well. Hey, Biddy's here. Hey, Biddy. Cam weighs 4 pounds and 2 ounces and may come home next week. Miracle baby, but we knew it from the get-go. For those of you who don't remember, Biddy's daughter, Amanda. I think it's Amanda. I may have the name wrong, Biddy, forgive me. She wasn't supposed to be able to have children, and she's had a child, but then the child was born prematurely, and he's been in the NICU. But we have felt very confident from the get-go that this child would be a miracle, and it has. And look, 4 pounds, 2 ounces, and may come home next week. That's a miracle. I think he was severely premature. Biddy will remind us, but I think he was in the 20-week range, if I remember correctly. We are deeply gratified and grateful to hear that, Biddy. Thank you. And congratulations. And tell your daughter, hopefully Amanda, we said congratulations and that we'll continue to pray for her. Isaac's retracting his own messages. What does that mean? It was Amanda, thank God. Hey, MI Prepper's still here. You said you were leaving.
He came back a few minutes ago.
While I was on a rant.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back. In 1990, the Air Force security at my Intel training base still used straight M16s with no forward assist. I thought the Army used old stuff. Yeah, no, the forward assist was a stupid idea.
Rittenhouse would disagree.
Yeah, so I would actually like to know more about that. Why he needed the forward assist. I am deeply suspicious of, unless something happened during the scuffle.
Yeah.
Oh, look at Wes. What a good guy. Wes wants to know if I want me to give them his P.O. box and then he can mail it to me. I actually would prefer that, Wes. Is that selfish of me? It's like, well, you can know about where Wes lives. I don't know about where I live. He did offer, though. I mean, I did.
I mean, you did spell your name wrong, though, so you have to watch those guys.
That would be a kindness, Wes. And Daniel, don't take it the wrong way. It's like, not that I think you're some creepy weirdo or something. It's a policy, you know. We've got too many.
It doesn't apply to Wes S, apparently.
Well, Well, so here's the policy. Okay, the policy is I don't let people know where I live until I've met them at least once. You know, we meet in the real world, and then I can evaluate them in person, and then it's like, okay, you can come in a step closer. And that's just had to be my policy ever since that happened with the.
MJ.
Oh no, that's not him.
Oh, okay. Different mic.
Yeah, different mic. This was way back at the beginning of the channel. We just have too many very beautiful children in this house, and I just have to be careful. Wow, he had 2 open heart surgeries. Ugh. Yeah, Mark is laying down some good knowledge. Oh, no, otherwise says that gets them nowhere close to his house. 10 Tigers says stick to the plan. I think he's talking about my policy.
His P.O. box probably gets him closer to your house.
You could in Texas. No joke. I rode my motorcycle from here to El Paso one time, and it was shorter to get from here to Beaumont than it was to get from Beaumont to El Paso. It was longer across Texas than it was to Texas. That's a screwed up state. What the hell? I mean, I love Texas. I love the Texans, the whole mystique. Let's break that thing up into a couple, you know. Unless they're going to declare independence again and go at it as a country.
Yeah, they're going to need the space.
They're going to need the space. But if they're going to stay a state, we maybe need to cut them up a little bit. Nothing personal, Texas. I love you, but...
Probably need a wall on your west side.
Yes, definitely a wall.
You gotta keep these crazy Californians and Nevadans out.
Wow. And my prepper doesn't use his face or his real voice.
Hey, my prepper's probably not his real name.
I wonder who Biddy can't visit this summer. You're always welcome here, Biddy. We have 100 miles just for lunch here in Texas. Of course, lunch in Texas is dinner anywhere else because everything's bigger in Texas. All right. Well, did we run out of steam? Ooh, 10 Tigers has an excellent point. More conservative senators if we cut up Texas. Hell yeah. They want to pack the Supreme Court. We could pack the Senate.
Yeah. It's a trap.
Pull up, it's a trap. I hadn't thought about that. That's good thinking. All right. I could go on for hours, but
You gotta go on a little bit longer.
a little bit longer.
Yeah.
All right, so let's give us a topic. Other than Texas has great barbecue, there's nothing to talk about there. We all know that's true. I was going to try to come. Oh, Biddy, you're always welcome here. There are exceptions to every policy. You are that exception. What's it matter has been lucky enough to spend his entire life in Texas and North Florida, but that seems like 2 entirely different places. There is talk. I'm so pissed, Isaac. That damn Brian Kemp. That son of a... Our governor came in a few years ago, 3 years ago, with all this big talk. You know, he puts all these commercials up on TV. You know, I'm on. And he's using the real Southern voice, too. You know, sounds like a NASCAR announcer. Yes, sir, Bob. I'm going to get my pickup truck, take my shotgun, drive around, round up all them illegal aliens, driving back to Mexico myself. I kid you not. He said that in a commercial. Almost those exact words. And then he gets elected, and he disappears. And he lets David, the Speaker of the House in Georgia, is a guy named David Ralston, and he's just a damn Democrat. And he lets David Ralston run the state for 3 years. And in his campaign, he promised us constitutional carry and all this stuff. You know, he was this fire-breathing Trump conservative. And then he gets in office, and David Ralston is the new governor of the state of Georgia, and we don't hear anything about constitutional carry, which he promised us. He talked all pro-life. and he tried to squash some pro-life bills. We got him through anyway, but sort of against his wishes. And then the election comes along, and he's like, "Oh yeah, looks like Biden won. Yeah, I see it. No, no." And now suddenly he's got to run for governor again, and he's like, "Hey y'all, let's have us some of that constitutional carry now. What do y'all think about that? Huh? That'd be great. Let's get some constitutional carry." And I'm not having any of it. If
Stacey Abrams for me.
If he makes it through the primary, I will vote for him. I will. Because nothing he says or does is going to be as bad as anything.
But I would rather have the devil I know than the devil I don't know.
I would rather have the guy who does nothing than the raging lunatic whore who's going to try to destroy everything.
You just don't have enough faith in that woman.
So I will vote for him in the general, but I will not be voting for him in the primary. A guy named David Perdue is running against him in the primary. I don't know that David Perdue.
Herschel Walker still running for him?
Herschel,
No, he's running for Senate.
He's running for Senate.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be going against Raphael Warnock. Okay.
Sometimes we don't have a choice, old Palmetto.
What do you say?
He said, I'd rather not throw my lot in with any devil.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think we need to vote. Palmetto Paratrooper and I have had this conversation before. I think voting's important. If for no other reason, when
We're going to vote Stacey Abrams.
Yeah. When you do finally have to start shooting, you want to do it with a clear conscience, knowing that you've done everything you could to avoid it.
Anyone know who it are? Never mind. Never mind.
Bob Jones, have you read the Steve Smith books? If so, what do you think of them, especially the die-off and the cities theory? Interestingly enough, Bob, we are in one of the Steve Smith books. If you read the last one that came out, not the hero, but one of the hero's main guys has to travel to South Carolina, and he has the character travel through North Georgia, and he meets us in our group. And I think I get named. I think I'm named in the book, which was one of.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
I'll give you that.
I was like, oh man, they got me right here. So yeah, I've read all the Steve Smith books. I've done a series of videos on all of them except the last one, and I kind of felt a little weird, because I was in it. But I should have done it. I should have done the last one. I had Steve Smith's phone number, but I lost it when I lost my phone, and I lost all of my important people phone numbers. And I haven't heard from him in a while. But yeah, I like his books a lot, and I think his city die-off theory is very solid. We got an interesting question there that went by really quick. So his city die-off theory. Someone just asked me if I'm obeying God 6 days a week. I didn't get a chance to read it. If that was your comment, post it again so I can catch it again, because I'm not going to go back. I'm falling way behind.
What was the question?
Something about, are you working to obey God 6 days a week?
Why not just do it 7 days a week?
I don't. There was he was Frenchman. He said he was French, so. Isaac, yes, I will definitely bring back the Man Up series. So the city die-off. Have you read those books? One of his things is that there's a coronal mass ejection. All the grids are down, power's out, cities die off, not completely, but mostly.
Sounds good so far.
Yeah, well, sounds like a good idea. Do you think that would happen, or would they find a way to subsist?
I don't know. So it's like an EMP. We're losing everything. Yeah, no, I don't think the cities would survive. Too long. I mean, they'll survive a little while, but
What kills them, in my opinion, is water and sanitation. They are going to run out of water almost immediately if the grid were down. If there was no electricity, especially a lot of those cities out west where they have to pump their water from hundreds of miles away. It's not. They just can't do it. They're going to be out of water day one.
all right, comment's coming up. Are you working 6 days a week to obey the Bible?
Adrian from France.
Did you mention about something 6 days a week when I was outside or something?
I don't think so.
But yes, we work 6 days and we rest one, the
Yeah.
seventh.
Yeah. The Sabbath is very important to us. Very, very important. It's kind of the gateway to our,
Yeah, it was the first commandment given, basically.
yeah. And it was the first thing instituted. The first religious observance instituted was the Sabbath, and then the next was marriage. Marriage, I hate that word. So the answer, doit est supérieur?
Well, I guess technically, no.
I think I said it. Doit?
No, I think technically marriage would have been instituted because that was instituted on the 6th day. And
See, I don't think it's clear that marriage was on the 6th day. I think marriage was. I think Adam was alone for a while before.
it says everything was created in 6 days.
Yeah, but
So that means Eve was created in
Eve's
6
weird
days.
though, because she came out of the man.
No, yeah, no, I'd say he was created on the 6th day. But
What?
okay,
What?
it says everything was created in 6 days.
But she wasn't created. That's the thing. She wasn't created the way everything else was created. Eve is unique in all of creation.
Okay.
Because she comes out of man. She's just an enlargement of something that was already here. But there's a reason why I think that though, and he talks. It lists out the days of creation, then it lists out Adam naming the animals, and then God looks on all that He's made, and a suitable partner for Adam can't be found.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously He knew that, and I mean this was His plan all along. And so then He puts Adam into a deep sleep, and brings Eve to him.
But on the 6th day.
I don't think so. Unless you think He named all the animals on the 6th day.
Why couldn't he do
Because
that?
she came after He named all the animals.
How hard is it to name a bunch of animals?
I mean, that's possible. I'll concede that.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I could look into that. I mean, I don't think that
It doesn't matter. It's not a
Yeah,
big.
I don't-
It's interesting, is what it is.
Yeah.
So yes, we are working 6 days a week, and then on the 7th day we rest in order to obey God. Okay.
Right, that's why she's not held accountable for the fall. Only Adam was.
Well, yeah,
What's-
through one man sin enters the world.
No, but I'm just wondering why he made the comment. Which one? What is he making the comment to?
Oh, that's why she's not held accountable for the fall. Only Adam was.
Because she's
Not
made-
created?
not created on 6th day, or
Because she comes out of man. She wasn't a unique creation to God. I didn't say that right. I'm speculating.
but she was held accountable. I mean,
Well, she had a curse.
I mean, she did die. Too.
But had she eaten the apple and Adam not eaten the apple, I don't think sin enters the world. She gets
yeah, because
expelled.
everything ends right there. Because Adam can now not recreate.
Yeah, God just makes them another one.
No, because everything was created in 6 days. You just can't.
Eve wasn't created,
Yes, she was.
but we're missing.
He said he was finished.
there is a point of our morality that didn't exist at the time. That
No, I understand that Adam, yes, sacrificed himself for his wife.
no, I'm just saying, was there no Eve? There were still women around.
What? Say that again.
Had Eve eaten the apple and been expelled from the garden, there were still women present for Adam to procreate with. Because they were being fruitful and multiplying in the garden all along.
Okay, yeah, I can buy that.
And people were leaving the garden, for their own reasons, either being expelled or, they just left. And they're populating the earth, and because, Cain, there's cities, there's people out there for Cain to be scared of after he kills Abel. The only way that works is if Adam and Eve have been having children all along, and those children have been
Yeah,
going
I
out.
mean, I understand they've been having. Yeah, all right. Yeah, I understand they've been having children.
So there's women,
Okay.
just to our morality, our sensibility, we start throwing up in our mouths when we think about it. But things were different then. Yeah, Bob Jones is because she was made from Adam.
But she was made from Adam. That's why she wasn't held accountable for the sin.
You know, my thing is maybe that she wasn't held accountable, but she couldn't corrupt the whole world. Only Adam could corrupt the whole world. As long as Adam was uncorrupted, it was still possible for there to be non-corruption. It's not
All right, but Adam was going to corrupt the whole world. I mean, that was the plan.
Not necessarily. God would have been happy to let him sit there and be uncorrupted for as long as he could have pulled it off.
So you're saying this? Let me choose my words correctly. So you're saying this? All right, I'll concede. I don't want to.
You don't have to concede. This is fun. Now, come on.
All right, so you're saying that the plan was for Adam not to corrupt the world.
Yes, the plan was for eternity, Garden of Eden.
To start right then.
Naked, garden, sex.
So the plan changed when Adam sinned.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, and God changed his plans a lot. You know, he changed the plans after Noah. He changed the plans with Moses. He changed the plans after the captivity, the Babylonian captivity. He changed his plans with Saul. With no king, you let him have a king. He changes his plans with Christ.
I don't know. I think the whole plan was Christ. So Adam had to fall.
See, I think if Adam had not fallen, the plan was Christ after Adam fell.
I think it was. Isaiah tells us that the Almighty tells the end of time from the beginning of time. So I think the plan was for Adam to fall, and the plan was Christ.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. You've been wrong before.
Many times.
I'm still your friend.
Many times. All right, what comments did we miss in that?
But if it's that way, then God foreordained Adam's sin, and Adam can't be blamed for his sin. So if Adam didn't have the option to not sin, then Adam didn't corrupt the world. God corrupted the world.
Let's say that again, make sure I understand.
Okay. So if Adam's sin was foreordained,
Yeah, if the plan was
always for Adam to fail, God made Adam sin. So the sin's not Adam's fault. It's God's fault.
no, but he gave him. I mean, once he gave him free will, he knew. All right,
Now, I'm not saying he didn't know that it was going to happen. But I mean, and this is the paradox of God being, and scholars have argued about this for millennia.
Yeah, that was my argument. It's
Yeah.
like you're saying that God didn't. This caught God
Yeah, is it,
by surprise.
predestined versus free will or whatever. And I accept the paradox. I accept that God knows what's going to happen, but he didn't foreordain it to happen, that he allowed it to happen his own way. And that means, for me, and this is just for me, and I'm not gonna, it's not that big a deal. For me, that means that it had the option to go the other way. I mean, if we have free will, which I don't think is a phrase that shows up in the Bible, I think that's a phrase we've invented, like rapture and Trinity.
I mean, yeah, but he does give him choices to make, so he has to have free will to make those choices.
Anyway, where are we at? Biddy has a very logical, common sense approach. It says Adam and Eve were the first created, didn't say we're the only ones created. So Biddy thinks that he created other people after Adam and Eve. And that is certainly a possibility by the text.
Maybe.
It's not precluded by the text. You can't say, oh, that doesn't contradict the text.
but he did say everything is created in 6 days and creation is finished.
Well, that's a valid point too.
But when he says everything is created in 6 days, just because he doesn't mention other things, you know what I'm saying? Just because it wasn't recorded doesn't mean it wasn't created. So, yeah, deep stuff.
There's some interesting conversations here where half the chat's talking about deep spiritual issues and the other half is talking about AR-10 magazines.
Yeah, well, they will catch up eventually.
Okay, Paul Meadow Paratrooper wants to know, where does the Bible ever say God's intent was for everyone to live with him? Well, Paul Meadow, it does say that God wouldn't that any should perish. So that his preference is that everyone would live with him then.
And we lost Isaac.
Isaac? Who's our moderator? Oh, Biddy's here. Oh, yeah, Isaac, you have to take the Biddy Boo course on moderating. She's really, really good. Wes S. is here too. Okay, but Isaac, thank you. Good night. Am I Prepper ever wonder if more of the books of the Bible are lost to us? Dun, dun, dun. The Apocrypha. I do not accept any of the non-canonical books. Not Enoch. What was I was watching Following Yeshua the other day, and he was quoting Sirach.
Sometimes I only accept half the New Testament.
Yeah, I struggle enough with half the half.
Paul's letters are questionable. Not that I disagree with Paul, but are they scripture?
Oh yeah, brilliant, deep, complex.
But that's different than are they scripture?
No, the question should be, are they law? And I would agree with you that they're not law, but are they the inspired word of God's, good for instruction? Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah,
But they're not law.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Oh, yeah, but I read some of Paul's stuff and I'm just like, wow. But he does challenge, he's challenging for everybody. I mean, Paul challenges everybody.
I mean, Peter even tells us in 2 Peter 3:16 that Paul's letters are hard to understand.
They say that they will cost you your salvation, that Paul's writings will lead the weak-minded astray. It doesn't, not that they're hard to understand, that you can lose your salvation in Paul if you are not careful. Paul's a big deal. Yeah, there's Isaac's phone number. Anybody else want it?
Just kidding, Isaac.
Just kidding. But so where I draw the line with the people in our movement who I say, okay, that's too far, is when they completely reject Paul. Then I'm like, okay, well,
I would say we don't need Paul, but I wouldn't reject what he says. I mean, I agree with Jesus. If you got the words of Moses, that's enough. I mean, if you don't believe the words of Moses, you're not going to believe someone else coming back from the dead telling you.
So what
this
about
place is hot?
James, Peter, all that?
I still think they're letters. I mean, are they scripture? I don't know. Because when the Bible says scripture, it is only talking about the Hebrew text. Because that's the only scripture they have. They're not talking about Paul's letters.
Are you talking about like Psalms, the prophets?
Yes.
Guess what?
Yeah. But that's scripture.
But that's not Torah.
It's not just saying Torah, but the Hebrew scriptures are, you have the Torah, you have the writings, and then you have.
See, I think Paul is a bookend to Moses. I think what Moses is before Christ, Paul is after Christ, and I think he's as important as Moses. And if you look at how much of the Old Testament Moses writes, and you look at how much of the New Testament Paul writes, and then the influence they both have. Obviously, Moses also has a huge influence on Paul and the New Testament that Paul doesn't have on the Old. So I don't know that you can say that Paul was greater than Moses or any of that. But
I mean, Paul spends his whole time quoting Moses.
well, a lot of it. But I mean, the things he says about Christ and redemption and the forgiveness for sins and And
Yeah,
so,
Moses is saying that too.
and a lot of the stuff he says about just, living the New Testament life and the path to salvation and the arguments he lays out for, I mean, Paul supersedes some of Moses. The priesthood and the temple and the sacrifices. Paul lays out the case for why those are no longer not valid, no longer performed. They're not necessary anymore. And Paul lays out that, or no, it's Hebrews. And we're not
But
sure.
I believe Paul wrote Hebrews.
You do believe Paul wrote Hebrews?
That's way too deep for anybody else.
It's pretty deep.
I mean, I'm not saying that Paul's wrong or anything. I'm just saying, are they scripture? I mean, they're letters. I mean, we're only getting 50% of the conversation, and they're letters written to a specific people in a specific time. Like the book of Hebrews is written to Hebrews in the 1st century.
Yeah, but I think it has universal.
I mean, I agree. We can learn things from, but the letter's intent was at a specific time to a specific people. I'm not saying that we can't learn things from them. And I'm not saying dogma. Yeah, they are not scripture. I'm just saying no, I don't know.
I think we need to work hard as Torah-keeping Christians to harmonize the difficult passages in the New Testament, because there are difficult passages in the New Testament for both sides. By the way, I don't know how. I call them Hellenized believers. These are just those Acts 15 guys who don't follow Torah. I don't know how they read Romans and not follow Torah. So there's challenging things for us in Galatians and maybe Hebrews, but there's really hard things for the other side too in Romans and a lot of the other ones. And we need to be very careful to harmonize both sides. And I think we can harmonize both sides. And I think the only thing we have to do to harmonize, at least on our side, the Hellenist guys, they have that made harder for them to find the harmony. But we can say, all right, look, there's Acts 15. You guys can stay right there. The New Testament carves out this place for you guys to stay. You don't have to be circumcised. We can't require it of you. But you have to understand that, we believe very strongly that this is the correct way. And as soon as we do that, and as soon as we accept that Paul was writing for both groups, the circumcised and the uncircumcised, I think it would be uncircumcised and circumcised. Your right hand. It all harmonizes, and we have no more problems. But when we try to say that Torah keeping is required for salvation, now it all falls apart on us, and we're left scrambling. And now we've got to throw away Paul or minimize Paul. When if we would just look at what he's saying and take him at face value, first off, we'd realize that we're right. It's always a wonderful thing. We have another woman, Pam. Hi, Pam. Thank you for finding our channel. We don't usually talk about deep spiritual things. This is kind of, we should. We mean to. But see, we talk to men mostly. And so the way you talk about spiritual things with men is that you hit them with everything but spiritual things. Like 99% of the time, it's guns, it's axes.
Throw them a curveball.
Yeah, and then every once in a while you're like, Jesus! Guns, 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 guns. But Jesus. Guns, 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 guns.
I don't even know how we got off on that. It's
Yeah.
about Adam and Eve.
Yeah, started Adam and Eve, and we got to Paul and Moses. It's like an onion. Where are we at? Everyone's saying hi to Pam. They're like, oh, a girl. Someone to talk to Biddy.
That argument Keith made is not quite correct.
Keith. You'd like Keith. I was
I'm not
actually,
saying I don't like it, I'm just saying it's okay.
Keith was who I was talking, Mariah and I were talking about to you and Michelle the other night. That's Keith.
Yeah.
We were telling Keith stories, Keith. Some scripture is specifically written for its context, but absent that context, the message is universal. Okay, what's wrong with that?
No, I was talking about this one.
Oh, the argument that Paul only applies to those to whom a specific letter is written could be made about every piece of scripture. Okay, so what's wrong with that?
Because every piece of scripture is not a letter written to a specific group of people.
Well, but we could say
The
that,
Torah is not a letter.
but the Torah is written to a specific group of people. It's,
To go share that message with everyone.
where does it say that?
What does it say?
Yeah.
You will be a priest and kingdom to the nations. I've been over this. Every study I make is Exodus 19.
But that's prophecy about end times.
Exodus 19?
Yes. That specific phrase.
No, it's not. No,
Yeah.
no.
Because we won't be priests and kings to the nations until after Christ's return.
No. That's. I cannot teach this man anything.
If you read the Torah, it's all about the children of Israel and Jacob.
Yes, to be priests and kingdoms to the other nations. The nations will look upon you
Okay.
and say, "These are wonderful commandments. What a wonderful God
But
you
that
have."
that hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
It hasn't. We still have godless pinko commies.
I understand that, but they were to be priests and kings to the nations. Just because
No,
all the nations are not.
He says, you will be. It's a prophecy about something that's going to happen in the future. And the only time that happens is after Christ's return.
Okay.
I should let you read it before I start making bold statements. But that's not really my idiom, you know. I don't use
I use this verse every study, and I don't understand why it hasn't sunk in.
I don't understand why you don't understand what it says.
Hey, this is the covenant. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for the earth is mine. You shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
It doesn't say. It says you will be.
A
Read
kingdom-
it again.
You will be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation unto.
You might want to find what version you were reading before and not read that version anymore.
All right, so
Were
you're
you
saying,
reading the Message?
all right, all right, okay. So you're saying that
That's the lighthouse?
wait a minute. So you're saying that we're not kingdom of priests to the nations?
Not yet. I would say that has a future fulfillment.
All right, what about in Deuteronomy where it says, all right, the nations will look upon you and say, what a great God you have, because you keep these commandments.
Oh, I don't.
So in Revelation 1, when Jesus has made us priests and kings, that's not happened.
No, that fulfillment is in heaven. That's the new Jerusalem and the new earth. We're not priests and kings yet. We're kings in our own home. We're priests in our own home. But over the nations, there's all sorts of nations that reject Christ and would cut us.
Exactly. We are supposed to be the priests and kings to them.
I mean, now I am very susceptible to dominion theology, which says that we could accomplish that if we were obedient, which I think is kind of explicit in that text. All right.
And I have found out my teachings have fallen on deaf ears.
That's not. I didn't know that that's what you were teaching. I was like, yeah, we will be kings and priests. Yeah. Right on, Jeff. Preach it, brother. That'll be a great day. When we all see Jesus, what a day. Okay. Palmetto is preaching. Think not that I've come to do away with the law, but to fulfill it. MI Prepper had a Mazda MPV from 1997. He loved it. Some jerk hit him and wrecked it. Okay, well, I'm not sure what to do with that, MI Prepper.
I'm trying to catch up on some comments.
Okay, let's see what we missed. All right, let's go back even a little bit farther. Oh, let's see what Keith is saying, because Keith is brilliant. But he will challenge you. Keith will have you going. Okay. Okay, Pam is a Torah keeper. Oh, Prepper Truckin just picked up on my Shrek reference.
When did you make a Shrek reference?
I talked about the onion.
Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't.
Pam says you keep Torah because of your love of God. Okay, Keith says, Paul also admonished that the gospel Christ assigned to him should be spread throughout the nations. I think he's talking to Palmetto Paratrooper there. Biddy says the only way any of us get to heaven is by accepting Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. He plainly states, no man can come to God except by me, right? Or am I confused again? No, Biddy, you are exactly right. Pam makes a statement that I take a little bit of an exception with Pam, but not. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, because I take an exception to this on a philosophical, grand 30,000 foot level, not down here on the practical, real level that I think you're probably talking about. She says, if you are a believer, then you are a part of Israel as an Israelite. I agree with the first part of that statement where I say we are a part of Israel. I stop short of saying I am an Israelite. When you're invited to a banquet, don't go to the head of the table. Go to the foot of the table and wait to get called up to the head. We need to just, for me personally, I have decided to sit at the foot of the table and just say, well, you know, I've been grafted in to the vine, but I am not Israel. If one day we find out somehow we are Israel, I will be the happiest man in the world. But
you'll have to be Israel.
well, again, I think.
I mean, I understand you're grafted into Israel, but you are Israel. I mean,
Yeah, so when Israel started, when they came out of Egypt, there were all sorts of
Yeah, there was a mixed multitude.
Yeah,
and they
non-descendants of Jacob, and they all became Israel.
So you are Israel.
But I think it was 10 generations before they could marry certain, like the priest or something, I can't remember. There was a long gap before they were completely Israelites. And we need to let that play out.
Yeah. I'll have to read up on that and see.
But yeah, it's
New Jerusalem only has 12 gates, the 12 tribes of Israel. Yeah. You're only getting in through one of those gates.
Yeah.
No, there's not a Christian gate. There's not a.
All right.
Yeah. There's not a Gentile gate.
All right.
You got to be grafted into Israel.
Yeah. 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 Palmetto makes a good point. Obedience is the fruit of our salvation. And never argue with a man clutching a rusty axe. That's a good point. It wins every time. Now the guns come out. Looks like Pam is one of us.
We have covered some stuff tonight.
We have covered some stuff. Bob Jones, faith in Christ Jesus is the only way to salvation. He who fulfilled the law written in stone and covered with his blood put us under grace rather than subject to the law. We actually agree with that statement, Bob, except we say rather than subject to the penalties of the law. That's our escape hatch there.
And you have to define faith.
And you have to define faith. Okay, Palmetto Paratroopers quotes the same scripture again, or maybe that. Oh no, that was the one I'd signed already. Yeah, Palmetto gets me. Thank you, Palmetto. He calls himself an Israelite, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying that's wrong. Except possibly when we're talking, well, anyway, we don't want to get into all that. Foot of the table and wait to be called to the head.
I'm just going to be glad that I'm at the table.
But yeah, I'm glad to be at the table.
If I'm from under the table, you know.
Did you see this one? Am I prepper?
No, no.
No Joel Osteen gate.
No Joel Osteen
Nope.
gate. Sorry, buddy. Did you hear they found all this money behind the toilet?
By the toilet. Like $600,000 or something.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a
huge sum of money.
That is awesome.
Like, they had $600,000 stolen and it didn't didn't phase them?
And who put it behind the toilet? What?
And then they find it and they're like, oh, hell, look at that. $600,000. Whew, that'd come in handy.
Where'd that come from?
Y'all want coffee?
How did that get in the wall?
I want coffee. You know, now everyone in that church, though, is all going to all the bathrooms. You know, there's 500.
Bathroom break.
There's going to be so many toilets ripped off the walls in that church. Then grafted into one of the tribes, which we will learn where we belong then. I do not feel worthy of being called a Christian because I am not godlike, so I just call myself a child of God. That's Biddy. I love Biddy's spirit. Yeah, Pam's got a good point there. It's possible we become Israel at the wedding feast by marriage. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with the idea that, hey, look, there's 10 lost tribes out there somewhere, and they have to show back up. They're in the Revelation. You know, there's no way around it. There's going to be physical representatives of the 10 lost tribes. And part of Christ's, prophecy is that he's going to restore Israel. Now, I mean, that could also be a post-second coming thing, too. Except that we know in the Revelation that there's 12,000 from every tribe that's not defiled by women.
I think it's like Dan. Is Dan in there?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I have to go check that. I can't remember if Dan is.
That doesn't mean they haven't had sex, remember. Sex isn't defiling for men. And it's not defiling for women as long as it's not adulterous. So when people have their lost tribe theories, I'm okay with that. That's fine. We just got to keep it in perspective. We can't let it get, like some of the Hebrew Israelites are like, I'm the tribe of Judah, but all of you people from Nicaragua, you're the tribe of Ephraim. And everyone in Cuba is the tribe of, and they've come up with these hyper-specific, theories about who they are, and then their theology is based on it. Oh, we are physical, literal Israel, and modern Jews are all, Edomites or whatever they want to do with them, and that goes some bad ways really quick. But a lost tribe, there's nothing wrong with saying, oh, I think the Scythians were the lost tribes, and they moved up through Mesopotamia into the steppe region, and then over into Europe, and
Yeah, that gets a little silly.
It does get silly, but it's okay as long as you keep it in perspective.
Yeah.
This is a fun idea I like to think about. This is not necessarily me, because I believe that they're going to be found in every tribe, every tongue, and every nation. They're everywhere. They're all the descendants of the lost tribes are all over the world, literally. They'll be pygmy Israelites. But someone who says, oh yeah, this is a fun idea, this is what I think could have happened, but they keep it in the realm of a historical, of a theory. If they treat it like a theory and they don't base their theology around it, and it's fine. You can say, yeah, I think I'm a descendant of the lost tribes, and this is why I think that might have happened. But you don't need to go proclaiming it and planting a flag and, I am the tribe of Dan, sit at the foot of the table. This is going to get revealed. We are going to find out where the tribes are,
Yeah.
who the tribes are. You may or may not be one of them. I may or may not be one of them. It does matter, but it's
I believe we have to be one of them. But which tribe we're grafted into?
well, okay. But when I say, I'm talking about the physical, literal, genetic,
Oh, yeah.
genetic descendants.
Yeah.
Could be, might not be.
Yeah, I'm not looking into
Would it be very, very cool?
Because
Yes.
it wouldn't matter, because if I was cut off anyway with my
Right.
sin,
Yeah.
so I had to be grafted
Yeah.
back in.
God can raise up descendants from Abraham from these rocks.
Yeah.
He does not need the DNA. In fact, I read something interesting recently. I did not realize this. You keep inheriting half of each parent's DNA. Well, you can only inherit 23 chromosomes, so you're constantly, every generation is losing DNA.
Losing information.
So the reality is, you could actually be the son of a son of the son of the son of a son of the son of the son of Abraham, and have zero genetic connection to Abraham, because his DNA has dropped out of your genome, because it's been so long since then.
Yeah.
So it really, the physical, literal, genetic descendant is, I'm not gonna say it's not a big deal, because it is, especially for at least the descendants of David, for sure. Anyway, what did we miss in the?
I think everyone agreed with me.
Well, it says he is lost, so his tribe is lost, so we found one.
I lost no more.
The lost tribe of Joel Osteen must have been in the crapper. And Pam says our Creator knows that's what matters, and that is 100% correct, Pam. Yes, completely. Our Creator knows, and that's what matters.
We've hurt Wes's head.
It's not hard to do. As much as he bumps it into things, it's always a little sore anyway. Swear the man will be in the middle of a pasture and he'll be like, oh! What happened, Wes? I hit my head. I don't know what on, but it hurt. I love you, Wes. Pam, like I said, I hope you don't think I was coming after you about the Israelite thing. I'm not, because I'm very confident that you're not one of those who's like, I am Jacob. You will all be my slaves, you Edomite.
That's a different group of people.
It's a different group of people. You what, devils? It's not all the black Hebrew Israelites are the ones who are the most.
Yeah, I do not understand that group at all, but hey.
But there's a group.
You do you, boo.
There's a group called the American Israelites, and they're black Hebrew Israelites, just white. But there's no difference. Like, the only difference is they don't have the chart that says where all the tribes are in South America. But other than that, the Jews are the Edomites, and the black people will be our slaves because we are Jacob. It's like, American Israelite, black Hebrew Israelite. Have you guys met? I just want to watch. I just want to watch. May I introduce you to each other?
I'm gonna sell firearms to both of you. I am a capitalist. Capitalism. We'll sell weapons to both sides.
It's like they say the exact same things. Just the one Israel is white and the other Israel is black. But other than that,
Both of them hate the Jews.
they both hate the Jews.
But the Jews, my friend, kept up with your scriptures better than you did.
Yes, they did. Yes,
Explain
they
that one.
did. And they preserved the calendar. And they maybe said some weird things in the Talmud here and there.
Oh yeah, they definitely said some weird things in there.
Yeah, every once in a while, they're like, come on, guys, really? We're trying to tamp down the Jew hate. So here we are from Esau. Yeah, that's the Edomites. I say Esau was destroyed at the same time Judah went into captivity. My limited amounts of research on the topic seem to indicate that. All right.
It is almost 1 o'clock.
You guys are talking like Ferengis from Star Trek, wanting to sell to both sides. Oh hell yeah!
You must be a smart guy.
Yeah, let me help you two destroy each other, please.
Well, one of them's got to win. One of them's got to pay back the debt.
No, they're too.
No. One has to win.
They're too stupid to live. Once they kill each other, we'll just go back in and get our guns. You know, all we've lost are the bullets, but we'd have had to use those to kill them anyway ourselves. So we actually haven't lost anything. we're ahead. Prepper trucking? No. So he's asking, so unless we are of one of the tribes, we will be shunned from the blood of the Lamb. No. And I think and maybe I'll let you say, what we're saying is that after salvation, you are grafted into one of the tribes.
Yeah.
Whether you are a physical member of a tribe or not, we will end up being a member of the tribe, of one of the tribes, after the second coming. So it's not that only the tribes receive salvation, it's that after salvation, you receive a tribe.
Yes.
And you just don't know which one yet. And Pam said it in one sentence.
No.
Okay, she said it in 2 sentences. No, but then she said it again in 1 sentence.
All right. She's quicker. She can type quicker than we can talk.
Oh, that's pretty funny. People think Palmetto Paratrooper hates white people. The one man in America whiter than me is possibly Palmetto Paratrooper. M.I. Prepper asked a great question. Do you think the second is coming soon? I don't think there is a set time for the second coming. No one agrees with me when I say this. All their heads explode. I think God wants this world to continue on as long as it possibly can. He loves this world. He loves us. He's a creator. He's a creative God. He loves his creation, and he loves watching his creation and interacting with his creation, and he loves growing, and he wants there to be more and more and more people to worship his name, and that means, letting this thing go on. The thing is, he's hit the reset button so many times now. He set the reset button at the Garden of Eden with the fall of Adam and Eve. He set the reset button with Noah. He set the reset button again with Moses. He set it again with when he brought like Saul. He said, all these times he keeps hitting the reset button, and he said with Christ, that's it. We're done. No more resets. You guys make this work, or everybody out of the pool. So when it gets so bad again, like in the days of Noah, then he's just, that's it. I'm coming back. Sky is gonna roll back like a scroll. Fire, white horse, sword dipped in blood, or vesture dipped in blood. That whole thing. But if we can keep it together, if we can win, if we cannot give up and roll over, he will let us populate the cosmos. He will be excited to let us we'll get to go to Alpha Centauri, and we'll get to see gigantic planets made of diamond with, caverns, miles. We'll see crazy shit if we can just keep this thing together, and he will let us experience this creation in as much fullness as we can handle. Problem is, we're not going to do that. We're going to fuck it up. Just like Adam did. Like Adam could have spent for an eternity naked in the garden, walking with God in the evening. And he couldn't keep it together. Israel could have...
No, I'm not going back into that. Adam kept it together.
No, he didn't.
Adam took one for the wife.
He ate the apple.
Yes, for the bride.
But so what? He chose his wife over God. You can't do that. You can't... God, I'm going to disobey you in order to obey you.
For my wife, yes.
My wife's more important to me than you are.
Just like Jesus, I'm going to be crucified for my wife.
Yes, but the difference was Jesus was obeying God and Adam was disobeying God. So Jesus did it correctly. Adam, ooh, there's a whole nother layer there. Wow, more onion peeling. This thing is. Oh,
I can test that Adam did not make a mistake.
Adam was the perfect man.
He wasn't perfect, but he did it for his wife.
No,
He wasn't talked into it. He wasn't.
I think he was.
He wasn't tricked into it.
He was.
He was like, "Oh shit, I've got to do this."
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Palmetto's coming after you.
Who?
You.
What do you say?
Read it.
I don't think that's coming after me.
Yeah, he's talking about you saying, "Oh, I'll do it for my wife. I'll disobey God so my wife's not by herself."
I don't know. I'm not saying that he didn't know better. I'm just saying that he willingly ate the fruit. I think even Paul tells us that.
That's still
Adam willingly ate the fruits.
crazy sin if he did. I mean, crazy. Hey, God, yeah, no, look, you're great and all, but, boobs over here. Dude. No, but even Adam, he starts making excuses to God. Oh, but the woman you gave me, it's your fault, God, it's not mine. It's hers, but it's really yours because you gave her to me. Yeah, no, that was a bitch move. Okay. Many are looking for the escape of the second coming instead of living as God wants us. Well, so the original question was, am I prepper saying, did I think the second coming was near? And the answer is no, but yes. It's pretty close.
It's gonna happen.
We're getting
A lot of things have to take place first.
We're getting to now. The one thing I would say is that I can't help but wonder if God's not going to give every people their shot at the faith. And so, does that mean Africa and the Far East are still going to have a chance at, or have they already had their chance and rejected it?
I think that's a misunderstanding of a verse.
I'm not staking a flag. That's speculation. Yeah.
Because when you read the verse, it sounds like the end is dependent upon the spread of the gospel, but I don't think that determines the end. What determines the end is when the abomination of desolation.
Yeah, when things get so bad again, that God's got to step in. Yeah, but you're right. The abomination of that, and that's when get the hell out of Israel, get the hell out of Jerusalem.
Yeah. A lot of things have to happen. I mean, it's not happening tomorrow.
No.
It's not happening.
No. I think so. I do think the tribes have to be restored on some level. I think America's got to get wiped off the face of the earth. I don't see America in time's prophecy.
No, I don't. Yeah.
But yeah, we're definitely close. Oh,
I think with this potato we have in charge, it wouldn't matter. We wouldn't stand up for Israel anyway.
It's a good point.
So.
Well, part of the signs of the end, though, is that 1/3 of the world is wiped away, and it just so happens that
We're 1/3 of the
we're
world.
1/3 of the world. Yeah, and we don't show up anywhere in the.
I might want to choose a different bug out location.
Yeah, yeah. But I also think that there's going to be a great returning. That a lot of our people are going to be moved back to the land, whether they had a real inheritance there to begin with or not. Okay, I don't know what the Prince thing is. One day my Prince will come. Palmetto's not letting this go. Adam disobeyed God on the suggestion of his wife. I have decided against things I knew in my heart I should do for the sake of my wife before. It never works out. This is the lesson to learn here.
It didn't work out for Adam either, but I'm saying
Sure as hell didn't work out for us. I mean, I got people go back in the chat. Keep your clothes on, Zach. God,
Well, I mean, but it did work out
God
for
made
us.
me to be free.
If Adam wouldn't have did what he did, then there would have been no Jesus. So I think it worked out for us.
No, Jesus was there at creation.
No, I understand that, but it. Never mind.
I mean, there would have been no crucifixion.
Yeah.
I am completely out of things to say. I'm just watching the chat for them to say interesting things. Or I'm waiting for you to say something I can argue with, which you're doing a lot tonight, by the way. Thank you.
I have my moments.
Keith, are you still with us?
You just said
Oh, yeah, no, Keith is still there with us. I love Keith. I've got to meet Keith 3 or 4 times. He's actually been here to the house to visit us, him and his lovely wife and his beautiful daughter. I think I can say this, Keith. I don't think this is too much information. One of his sons is a fighter pilot in the Air Force. So, that's pretty much made me swoon. But brilliant man with a wide-ranging mind. It's just his mind ranges far, far and wide. And better have a good pair of running shoes on if you're going to keep up with him. So is Jeff's in-laws coming in for Christmas to make tamales?
Yes.
Yes. Why no America? Is this your way of saying New Zealand is the bug out location, considering all the rich are buying and building bug out? It's just when I read, and by the way, the Revelation is not open to us yet. The words are still closed. So we can't really know exactly what it means. But when you read it, you just don't see anywhere where
I read it. I understood it just fine.
the Western shots fired. Fire in the hole! Impact! I don't see anywhere where the Western Hemisphere shows up. Biddy, good night. Thank you. We appreciate you. We are very happy about Cam. So concubines, what about those? Oh, concubines. Find me the verse about concubines. Concubines are not a thing. The Bible mentions concubines, but it never regulates or defines concubines. It tells us that there's people in the old times who had women that they called concubines, but God counted them as wives, and he expected them to be treated as wives. So for God's purposes, you can have multiple wives if you want, men.
I'm trying to wake up the house.
If you want more than one wife, you can have more than one wife. But you can't have a concubine. God doesn't tell you what a concubine is. Now, hold on. Stop. Please. Deep breaths. Listen to me very carefully. You've been told some things that are a lie. Not a lie. Okay. You've been told some things that were mistaken. Deeply and desperately mistaken. Someone has told you before that concubines were women who were married without a ketubah. A ketubah is a marriage contract. Okay. Nowhere in the law or the Bible anywhere is a marriage contract talked about. That is something that does not exist in the Bible anywhere. There is no such thing as a ketubah. So therefore, a concubine could not be a woman without a ketubah, because all the women in the Bible were women without a ketubah, because there was no such thing as a ketubah. And then also they'll tell you that.
Pam.
What's that?
I was just saying bye, Pam.
No, she's like multiple wives.
I'm out.
Good night, Pen. I hope we didn't freak you out too much. To the chat, you are welcome. Look at Keith. Concubines are biblical. They are not biblical, Keith. Where?
He makes another one. Concubine is just one form of a woman for a man.
Okay, so he's going deep again.
I have no dog in this fight.
He's going deep.
I'm gonna go smoke.
Sometimes they'll say that concubines were wives whose children did not have inheritance rights. Again, no, that is nowhere in the Bible. God doesn't say that anywhere in His Word. And remember that marriage is Biddy and Pam both jetted right when we started talking about the fun stuff. Is an analogy about the relationship between God and you want to say the church or the Israel, whatever you want to say. And God does not have any wives whose children don't have inheritance. God doesn't have concubines. God only has brides. He does not have. Now, what Keith is talking about is that word wife doesn't appear anywhere in the Bible, anywhere. There is no such thing as a wife in the Bible. There are only women who have been possessed by a man. There is not a word for marriage in the Bible, in Greek or Hebrew. There is one time when a word is used that we're not sure what it exactly means, and it occurs in the New Testament, and it's when the Pharisees come to Christ and they ask him this, it's supposed to be this riddle about 7 brothers who, they all end up marrying the same woman because they all die without children. And so she is called levirate marriage. And so she has to marry all 7, and they ask, so who is she married to in heaven? And Jesus is like, know you not that there is no giving or taking of marriage in heaven. And that's the only place in the whole Bible where a word shows up that could have anything to do about what we think of, what we call marriage. It doesn't exist in there. There are women who are owned by men. That's not sugar-coated. Let's just throw it out there. And that's it. And there's actually also not a word for husband. That's a word we've made up. When you see the word husband in the Bible, it's usually talking about, the word is either Baal, which means Lord. False gods were called Baal. So sort of think about, when a man is called a woman's Baal, he's her, it's almost like he's her master in a very complete way. So if you really want to start talking about what we refer to as biblical marriage, even though it's a bad term, you've got to take a sledgehammer to all of your preconceptions about what you think marriage is, because almost everything you believe about marriage from the standpoint of the Bible is made up in the last 500 or 600 years. Just doesn't exist in Scripture or in our faith. And this drives the Baptists crazy sometimes, and I love the Baptists. Nothing against our Baptist brethren. They've held the line on a lot of issues for a long time. But if you really want to talk about what God says about marriage and things like concubines, then you have to take a sledgehammer to everything you thought you knew, and then you've got to get a cleaning crew in there to sweep out all the debris and totally clean out your mind and start over fresh with what the Bible says about marriage, what the Bible says about men and women. I have tried to start
gathering my thoughts.
I have said the phrase "I have" entirely too many times. I have tried to start throwing away the term marriage and married because it is completely unbiblical, and
Since we're talking about marriage, let's get back to this Adam and Eve thing. Are y'all done with this concubine
give me a
subject yet?
Give me 1 minute. We'll get back to Adam and Eve. The closest the Bible gets to putting a label on this relationship is one flesh. We talk about the one flesh relationship. The two shall be one flesh. And I think that's the phrase we need to use instead of being married or marriage, or we need to talk about the one flesh relationship. And that's a good start. Let's get rid of the terms and the phrases. It's very, very hard to replace husband and wife because the terms are intimate, and they mean a lot to us. That's my wife. She's different. She's special. This denotes all of these things about our relationship that I don't have to explain. It's shorthand. But it's actually become very meaningless because, we call women wives that the Bible calls harlots, you know, and we call marriages things that the Bible calls just straight up adultery. So the terms, much like the term Christian, have become meaningless, and they conceal more than they reveal. Let's talk about Adam and Eve.
All right, Adam and Eve. What was our argument about Adam and Eve?
You said
Adam willingly ate the fruit.
Adam willingly ate the fruit,
All right.
and that it wasn't necessarily sin on his part,
No, it was sin. It was definitely sin.
but it was sin from a righteous place, or
Yeah, because, all right, if Adam and Eve are one flesh, all right, he's responsible for Eve. I mean, he has to eat that fruit. And Paul tells us that Paul willingly ate the fruit.
when did Paul get the fruit?
No, Paul tells us that Adam willingly ate the fruit.
Adam.
Did I say that wrong?
Yeah.
All right, sorry. It's late. Past my bedtime.
I struggle with the concept that it's okay for Adam to obey God, or disobey God, in order to follow his wife into sin.
All right, say it again. I didn't catch all that.
Yeah.
I was trying to read comments as you were saying. All right, what'd you say?
I struggle with the idea that Adam righteously disobeyed God for any reason.
No, it's not. I mean, you can't throw righteous in there. I mean, but I'd say that he willingly ate the fruit for his wife.
And I would say that makes the whole thing worse.
All right, but Paul tells us that since you love Paul, we can go to Paul. All right,
You hate
husbands.
Paul. Why would
No, I love Paul. I want them to tell you why. All right, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
Mm-hmm.
What did Christ do for the church? He died for the church. He willingly died for the church.
Yes, but if the church disobeys him, he throws her into the outer darkness where there's wailing and gnashing of teeth. He doesn't go with her.
All right, but so you're saying all right? Well, I don't even want to go there.
So, let's make a hypothetical. Crazy hypothetical.
Okay.
There's going to be a young couple. They're 30 and 32. Their names are John and Angela.
Okay.
Because I don't know anyone named John or Angela who's 32. Interestingly enough, Angela is 32. She's older than John. She never thought she was going to get married. She despaired of it. She almost gave up on ever. Anyway, Angela wants to be a swinger. She wants to have sex with other men. And she tells John that she's doing this no matter what, that he'd better come with her to protect her so she doesn't go somewhere unsafe.
Okay.
Under your theory, John should go be a part of her swinging in order to protect her so she's not alone in her sin.
I disagree. I haven't thought through your analogy, but I'm sure it falls apart in some.
But how is it different though?
But all right, this is the way I wasn't there, but this is the way I see it happen. Eve gets tricked, eats the fruit. Adam comes along and says, "Oh shit, Eve, you have eaten the fruit. Now God's going to kill you. I love you, so now I'm going to eat the fruit in your place." Sound familiar?
Yeah, but
And now he's saying, "All right, God, whatever you do to my wife, you have to do to me also."
that sounds worse.
I don't think it does. I don't think.
It sounds like he's trying to manipulate God or something. Or
No, he's saying that, all right, God, you've given me this woman that's my responsibility. She's eating the fruit. You're going to kill her, but I love her, so I'm going to eat the fruit in her place. I'm going to die in her place.
when God shows up, though, Adam's hiding in the bushes and whining, making excuses.
Okay, but this is after he's eaten the fruit.
Now he's gotten scared.
Yeah, that's the point of the whole fruit. It opens his eyes to good and evil.
Oh.
Now,
What was I thinking? Them titties ain't that nice.
Yes, there is a different perspective from before he eats the fruit and after he eats the fruit.
Well, I don't see anything good in what he did.
Man, I'm not saying he didn't sin. I'm not
He
saying it
should've
wasn't
been
wrong. I'm just saying
he
he
should've been
willingly ate the fruit.
Bye, bitch.
But
Bye, Felicia. You so stupid.
now you're gonna have to make me quote Jesus. Who has not committed this sin? Throw the
My,
first stone.
my next wife's gonna be so much hotter than you. You wait and see how fruitful and multiplying I am with her. Say hi to the angel with the fiery swords.
So what is your? He was tricked into it.
We should really go to the text if we're going to do this. We shouldn't be trying to recall it. We should get a Bible out and look at it and see what it says.
Yeah, I mean that's true. You have to have an opinion.
Somebody, quick, talk about guns. Guns. Okay. Nagging is only powerful if a man willingly relinquishes his authority to knuckle under to it. Keith is all about authority and headship. Look at here's another woman with her damn fake link. Well, they're links that don't go through. Prepper Truckin says Matthew 5. It's better to cut off thine own hand and cast it into the fire rather than to perish with it. Even if God set Adam up for failure, knowing full well what he'd eventually do, even if it was to save his wife, it was still wrong. Now we're going to make excuses for Adam. You are on the short end of this stick. I mean,
those 17 people can be wrong also.
Ooh, shots fired. Target acquired, backblast area all secure. Fire and hole. Impact, impact, impact. Okay, was the fruit one of those huge Thai mangoes? Those are pretty darn good. I've never had a mango. I don't think. Oh, I think I've had dried mango and trail mix.
Yeah, probably. It's not bad. Wise man going to the text.
Oh, I said something right. Thank you, Bob.
You just say that to save your own skin because you didn't have an opinion on it.
I do have an opinion. I just wanted to make sure it's the right opinion. I ain't memorized that book. Hell, I barely read it. I'm such a terrible follower of Christ. I'm like, well,
I don't understand Elizabethan English.
we haven't read the Bible in a month. I guess let's do a chapter tonight, kids. Oh, this is a long chapter. We better split this one up.
I mean, Psalm 119 you might want to split up. That's the long chapter.
Well, there's some stuff in Jeremiah too, and I'm just like, nope, not doing it. This is 3 chapters. That chapter breaks ain't scriptural.
Yeah, they make no sense.
That's man-made.
They make no sense.
This man's making some chapter breaks. Keith is honored to have been a tiny part of a fruitful discussion. I think you were a big part of it, Keith. Nobody here judges you for loving your wife a great deal. Cough, too much cough. We judge you for loving another man's wife at all. That's bad.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Adultery.
I know you're talking about adultery, but
I mean, there was no specific instance. I was
okay.
just,
All right. Thought you were insinuating something.
no. All right. How long was this? Hour and or 168 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 48 minutes.
This is on the second take.
This is the second take. So we're 12 minutes from a 3-hour stream. I think we go for it.
That's what else. I'm about sober now.
All right. So we are looking to do about another 12 minutes at least. But if you men are interesting, we'll go even farther.
I have nowhere to be until Monday.
No, Keith, that does not include the aborted first part. I'm not even sure how long that one went, but that's a whole different stream.
Which wasn't bad.
No. Okay. Keith, give us a topic. Throw something out there.
Gave you the concubine one.
He did good. No, that was Wes.
I thought Keith done that. Or Keith was just coming in on it.
Oh, maybe the first one I saw was Wes, but I think Wes left too. Was there a partridge in the fruit tree? Was it a pear tree?
What kind of tree it was?
Not, yeah, no.
Only thing I can go to the text and find out what kind of tree it was.
There were lords of leaping though when it happened. They were jumping all over the place. What the hell you do? What you do? Oh, now look, Keith's suddenly going to get quiet. I asked him for
Oh, he's
this man can generate. You have never seen in your life anyone who can generate words the way Keith Martin can generate words. He'll type literally a 10,000 page response, a 10,000 word response in minutes. Like, I don't even know how fast he types. I can't believe his mind works that quick, let alone his fingers.
he's got his answer formulated before you finish the
He
question.
made this. It's like, did you just cut and paste someone's doctoral thesis? What is this? If I throw out a topic, it will take too long to talk about it.
You're probably right.
Well, throw out an easy one. I'm not that smart, Keith. You can plumb the depths of my knowledge on any one topic in 10 minutes easy. Are you planting a winter garden? No. I have yet to put my summer garden to bed yet. What are your thoughts on Convention of States? I have thoughts on Convention of States. Deep, deep, deep thoughts. Conventions of States, I know they're all...
Truckin's been here the whole time.
Yeah, he's done good. A Convention of States are very, very, very dangerous. I know it's all the rage right now, but anything can come out of it. If you actually get a Convention of States, there's no limit on what they can do at that convention. That means California and New York and Massachusetts and Chicago can go in there and if they can get it done, they can make their socialist hellhole a reality for all of us. Our Constitution came out of a Convention of States, not technically not, because the Convention of States, as we think about it, is enumerated in the Constitution. But what happened was the Continental Congress is like, hey, you guys, it's like a subcommittee. Y'all get together and we need to fix a few things. Our tax revenue isn't great. We need a little bit more money. Y'all make some changes around the edges. And they said, Constitution, new form of government. It was actually a coup. It was literally a coup against the sitting government. And I mean, I'm not saying anyone was. Some people were very, very unhappy about it. So the Convention of States to me is far, 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 far too much of a wild card. We would never, ever go into a convention. We should never go into a Convention of States unless we know what the outcome is going to be 100%, because we're all going to be there with rifles to make sure it happens. A Convention of States is just like we were talking about our Georgia Governor Brian Kemp earlier, who he went into his term talking about his shotgun and his pickup truck and how he was going to go round up all the illegals. And when he got down there in Atlanta, he turned into a Democrat. We could elect any kind of delegates to this Convention of the States, and they'd be like, I love you, I love America, I love guns. And he could get there and turn into Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi, and there's no recourse.
What do you think about that statement?
Which one?
In my paper.
How do you think God feels about those who won't follow Torah versus those who do, when both believe in Jesus as their Savior? I would rather not say. No. He doesn't tell us. What he tells us is not to puff ourselves up and think we're better than our brother. So rather than what God thinks, we need to be worried about what we think about the other. I read Acts 15, and there's no way for me to get, and I read Galatians, and I can say there is no way for me to get around the fact that God is perfectly okay with believers staying at Acts 15. You can't keep Torah if you're not circumcised. And in Galatians, Paul makes it very clear, there's no rush for you to get circumcised. Even if I believe Galatians is all about salvation, and the necessity of circumcision for salvation, and how that's false. But he doesn't then go on and say, but once you're saved, now you need to start. He doesn't say anything about people eventually getting circumcised. He leaves it completely open. doesn't tell the Hellenized believers that you don't need the Torah for salvation, but once you're saved, you need to start moving in that direction. He doesn't. He just says you don't need it, and so we need to leave it at that. We need to say, fine, you're uncircumcised. Stay that way unless you feel called. I feel called.
Let's see, I would say, well, first, there's something wrong with this question. It's when both believe in Jesus as our Savior. It's believing Jesus as your Savior means nothing. It's believing you confess Jesus as Lord. So I would say, yeah, if you don't keep Torah, then you don't believe Jesus is Lord, because He clearly tells you to keep Torah.
But we look at Acts 15, and we see what all these Torah keepers came up with to be a member in good standing of the assembly. And it wasn't keep Torah. They gave them Torah light.
No, they gave them instructions directly from the Torah.
Yeah, but it wasn't all of Torah. It was, so that's the sexual laws. You New Testament believers are under the Old Testament sexual laws. Look up fornication and porneia and what it means. It does not mean what you think it means.
No, I understand that, but there's a difference between someone who says, I do not have to keep Torah, and someone who is keeping Torah but not keeping all of Torah. There's a big difference there. And he would have to clarify that.
So, but I think the point, what he's trying to get at is, do we believe that Torah keeping Christians, for lack of a better term, are superior in God's eyes than non-Torah keeping Christians, for lack of a better term?
What is a non-Torah keeping Christian? I don't understand that.
So someone who just stays there at Acts 15, no fornication.
So Acts 15 is the starting point?
I would say Acts 15 is a stasis point.
No, but how do you get to Acts 15? I mean,
so no fornication, no sexual impurity. Let's say that.
right, but those were the instructions to get into the synagogue to hear Moses read every.
This was the instructions to be in the home churches of the apostles.
No, this was to get into the synagogue.
It doesn't say anything about the synagogue.
It does. It specifically says synagogues.
Does it?
Yes, he does. He says Moses is read in the synagogues
He
every
says,
Sabbath.
as for all the rest, if they so desire, Moses and the prophets are taught in every synagogue in every town. But it's a separate thing. It's separate from what they're requiring of these people. And it's very clear, if they so, we need to go to the text again. I'm breaking my own rule. But it's the synagogue is separated out from the assembly. But the actual, what we need to stop and say is, no one keeps Torah. We all fail to keep Torah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying there is a difference between someone who says, I do not have to keep Torah, than someone trying to keep Torah but doesn't keep it. I think he needs to distinguish that. Is that what he's talking about, or is he talking about someone who?
I think he was trying to lay the framework for a further statement. I think he wanted to know: do we think that Torah keeping believers have a, somehow superior or elevated form of the faith? And
I would say, if you want to state it like, if you don't keep some form of the Torah, you're not in the faith to begin with. I mean, because Jesus clearly tells us to keep Torah. Or many people will call me Lord in that day, but I will say, depart from me, you did not keep my Father's will. Then he goes on to explain that is because you were without law, you were anomia, you were without Torah.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't answer that question. I can tell you that Zach before Torah keeping and Zach after Torah keeping is Torah keeping. Zach was, I don't know how to say this without being an asshole, my faith is greatly advanced now from where it was. And I walk in many more blessings and much more victory than I ever did before.
And that's exactly what the Torah says. You obey. If you obey my commandments, you're going to be better off.
His question was, what does God think about the two different types of believers?
Well,
And we're all
God would have to answer that. I mean, I'm
well,
just giving
in
my
his
opinion.
we're all sinners in his eyes. We all
Yeah,
fail.
yes.
And if you fail in one thing, you fail in all of it. So there's no difference in God's eyes between us.
It would have to be. You would have to answer the question: Who does Jesus' sacrifice apply to?
God, they're getting really uncreative with the names they're thinking up for these fake women. And my prepper says people who don't believe Christians are supposed to keep it versus those who do keep it. Okay, so now there are Christians Christians, again, for lack of a better term, who we run into a lot who will tell us that we are sinning by keeping Torah to the extent that we do. And I think those are deeply misguided people. Because when you look at the things we do, what is it that's sinful? It's not, you would never tell a vegetarian that they're sinful. Why would we be sinful just because we don't eat certain types of meat?
Which sin, and in the Bible, sin is defined by violation of the Torah. So how can you sin if you keep Torah?
You can't say we're sinning by keeping the seventh-day Sabbath, because Seventh-day Adventists keep the seventh-day Sabbath, and they're perfectly accepted in the modern church. So the things I believe personally that people call me a heretic is about the biblical marriage or the biblical one flesh relationship. But the New Testament specifically references Old Testament sexual laws. Specifically, that's when it says abstain from fornication. It's not telling you don't have sex before marriage. There is no such thing. It's telling you that the word is porneia, abstain from porneia, which is prohibited sexual acts. Well, those aren't listed in the New Testament. They're listed in the Old Testament. So you've got to go get your sexual ethics from the law. Or now some people will say, well, if you dig through the whole New Testament, you can find where it talks about all these different things. That's not true. Incest and bestiality are never addressed in the New Testament. If your sexual laws only come from the New Testament, first off, basically you don't have sexual laws in that case. So you have to go to the Torah on some things anyway. That specifically. But here's what really honestly, I'm being sincere here. What I don't understand anymore is these Hellenized believers, these non-Torah keepers, the militant ones. They'll say God doesn't care about rules. It's not about rules. But the New Testament lists out all of these rules, including dietary rules, dietary laws. In Acts 15, at the Council of Jerusalem, all Christians are forbidden from eating certain kinds of things. Blood, animals that are strangled or have the blood in them, and food sacrificed to idols. You are specifically forbidden by apostolic command not to eat certain things. You still have dietary laws on you as a follower of Christ, a completely New Testament follower of Christ. You can say that the whole Old Testament is done away with, and you still have dietary restrictions on you as a follower of Christ. So in my mind, that should color everything you think about the law and law keeping, because clearly the New Testament God is not some crazed free love hippie that does away with all the rules. He kept very strict, stringent rules on. There's not as many, but there's still very strict, specific rules that you are required to keep. And some of them much harder. Now, I mean, some of the stuff Paul talks about, taming the tongue and taming your heart and taming your desires, that's much harder than just not sticking it in the wrong woman, Anyway, so I think sometimes the militant non-Torah
types are deeply, I will go so far as to say, yeah, we'll say confused. They have gotten so wrapped up in the idea of a relationship and the emotions that they have lost some of the logic and the reasoning behind their beliefs. And so they'll say things that they just don't think through. Oh, God doesn't care about what I eat. Well, except God gave you very clear instructions about what to eat in the New Testament. So, anyway, I don't know if that was at all illuminating or not. Keith says, sinning by keeping Torah, how does one measure that? A murder a day? Oh yeah, and Palmetto Pier, you're trying to earn your way. Yeah, so what we'll hear all the time is, brother. Brother, they'll reach out and they'll grab your hand. Brother, you do know, don't you, brother, that salvation's through grace, right? No, jackass. Here we thought God just wanted all them dead sheep. Because that was a fair trade, right? That wasn't grace. Giving forgiveness for dead sheep, that was capitalism, that was the free market. That's just what my sins are worth, is one dead sheep. Hell, that wasn't grace. I earned that. You dumbass.
So violent.
I mean, that's just the dumbest freaking thing I've ever heard. What was forgiveness of sins through a worthless sacrifice? He says, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, but sure, you kill one of yours. That'll do something for me. That's not grace. I'm not letting you earn it a little bit. Jackasses.
Let's see, prepper trucking, I would say that you're thinking it the wrong way. You're thinking there's two testaments. There's only one.
I disagree.
Do you think so? That you think there is a brand new testament?
Oh, who's he talking to? Is he talking to me, or is he talking to MI?
I don't know. He was just bringing up.
Yeah.
See, he said the rules were established in the Old Testament,
Okay.
but where?
So he's right. There is not an Old and a New Testament. There's one book that flows. But what there is, and Paul talks about it in Galatians, is there is the gospel to the circumcised, and there's the gospel to the uncircumcised. And the gospel to the uncircumcised was entrusted to Paul, and the gospel to the circumcised was entrusted to Peter. So there is. So
It's the same gospel.
It's
just Paul's going to these people, Peter's going to these people, but they're carrying the same gospel. It's not two different gospels. No, it's not.
Well, hear me out. It's the same Bible.
No,
It's the same Jesus. But there is a difference in presentation.
no. What Paul is saying is, I'm going to the Gentiles, Peter's going to the Jews.
But you come at those two groups from two different angles.
Right, but with the same gospel,
With the same angle.
with the same gospel.
With the same angle.
You might explain it differently,
You
but
would
it's the
explain
same
it
gospel.
very differently.
But it's not the same. It's the same gospel. It's not two different gospels.
I think we're defining gospel a little differently.
Maybe, I don't know. We do have to define our terms. It is important to do that.
God doesn't want us to be sin conscious at all, which is why it was called the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. The rules were established in the Old Testament, but where are they, and should they be reiterated in the New Testament? So my stance is that the only ones that have to be reiterated in the New Testament are the ones that are changed. And I get in trouble with my Torah keeping brethren sometimes because they'll say the law never changes. Well, no, God never changes. But the law has changed, and there's no way around that.
Where did the law change?
Abraham married his sister, and that is forbidden in the Torah. But it is,
I didn't know he married his sister. I have to read up on that.
yeah. Sarah was his sister, his father's daughter, different mother.
But just because Abraham did it, that doesn't make it right.
But even in the New Testament, Abraham and Sarah are pointed out as being righteous. You know, Abraham was the friend of God. That law just hadn't been given yet. You know, he didn't exist under it. But also where the law changes for us is, we talked about it earlier, the temple and the sacrifices and the priesthood. That stuff's fulfilled. That's done away. Maybe not done away with, but fulfilled. And that's what Hebrews is all about. Especially 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah, Hebrews is about the priesthood. But I mean, they're not done away with. We just don't need them. I mean, if you can show me a sacrifice that I need to make,
Right.
Yeah, we don't need to make it,
Right. They're fulfilled.
or that I can make it.
They're fulfilled.
Yes, and they were never. They were always a place marker
Yes.
to the Messiah.
Okay. Where was that? Oh, and that's why, okay, so like bestiality doesn't need to be restated in the New Testament. It was forbidden in the Old Testament. They do reference the Old Testament laws when they talk about fornication. They don't have to relist all of them. God already said it. He doesn't have to speak twice. Seems like if you follow Torah, the lines are clearer, but there is a sliding scale that floats with the times. Otherwise, gay and transgender ministries, gay weddings at churches, etc. Seems like judge not lest you be judged is the greatest commandment. No, the greatest commandment is what? Love your neighbor, or no, love the Lord your God with all your soul and all your, and love your neighbor as yourself. All the other commandments hang on these. Doesn't say all the other commandments don't matter.
No, it says all the other commandments hang on these. All the other commandments. If you read the Torah, all the commandments tell you to do two things: love God or love your neighbor. All the other commandments tell you how to
do
God,
those things.
how to love your neighbor. Because you do not know how to love God without the Torah. You do not know how to love your neighbor without the Torah.
Yeah. So judge not lest you also be judged is not. It's not even really a command.
And we're not judging you. I mean, that's
So we're not sitting up and saying, you know, you are indicted of this crime and we find you guilty and we give you this punishment. But now there is such a thing as a court reporter. And the court reporter does write down and publish what the judge says. So, you know, I can accuse someone of being a murderer and not be judging them. I can be telling them what God said about murder. You just said what I was typing. The grasshopper is learning.
you're assuming he's talking to you.
Well, what did you say? I'm so sorry. You know what? I apologize. You have been
I
speaking.
threw some nuggets of wisdom in
No,
there.
you have been speaking. I'm sorry. Yeah. You're right. You have been speaking a lot. Yeah, Paul said that Torah was provided so that knowledge of sin would abound. That doesn't, and sometimes people read that and they're like, oh my God, the Torah causes us to sin. No, what he's saying is that so that we would know what sin was. So that we would know what sin is so that we can then not sin. That's why I put it in quotes, not a commandment, but so many churches act like it is. And oh, I see what you're saying. Most churches act like, that's why they've got transgendered horseshit and gay ministers and rampant adultery. All this stuff started at no-fault divorce. It actually all started at marriage licenses. The first time the church said, oh yes, we have authority over marriage. Yes, we must give you permission. That day we were set on the road to this transgender horseshit we're on right now.
Yeah.
Anytime someone starts perverting God's systems and stepping in God's place and taking God's authority, straight downhill. And also that we would know just how unworthy we are of God's grace. Yes, one of the most impactful, well, not one the most, but at the time one of the most impactful moments for me has been Passover. And one of the things is we're supposed to get all the leaven out of our house before the Passover week. But then you start having these debates within yourselves. Okay, so do we have to get rid of wine, but we're told to drink wine. But wine's got yeast in it, and yeast is leaven. And you realize, first off, it doesn't say yeast, it says leaven, and leaven isn't yeast, it's things that make bread rise. So don't worry, your beer is fine. But you can't get yeast out of your home. It's in the air. It's microscopic. Billions of yeast things are floating in the air, and they're on this axe, and they're on your skin. They're everywhere. You're supposed to do your best to get the leaven out of your house, but you can't. In fact, the Jews have to have rules about how long the matzah dough can sit out before you cook it, because just the yeast in the air will get on it and it will start rising. We're surrounded by sin. We can't get rid of it. And that's what that whole, getting the yeast out of your house is supposed to show you, that you have to do this, you have to try, but you can't. You still got to try, but you can't. You've got to have help. And when that was all first dawning on me, I was like, whoa. Maybe you should wear 2 surgical masks. You're a jerk. Where was George Washington's marriage license? Never had one. Didn't have government permission to get married. What about guy? Exactly. Wow. He was living in sin. He was shacked up with that Martha hussy. She should be ashamed of her. Her parents must have been hiding their faces in the palms of their hands. Of course, she got it from them. It was probably where hairy palms they had their faces in. They was probably sinners too. It is late.
It's getting there.
Yeah, that was not good. All right, what do you say we... It's good. I liked it. Yeah, I think it was good. All right, anybody got any closing thoughts?
Did we insult everybody?
I mean, we did our best.
Next time they'll know to wear their steel-toed boots,
I mean,
because we will step on your toes.
we went after everybody. We went after Torah keepers. We went after non-Torah keepers.
Black Hebrew Israelites, the white
Black
Hebrew,
and white Hebrew Israelites.
the gay Hebrew Israelites.
Gay Hebrew Israelites. The women Hebrew Israelites.
Had a good time. It was good.
It was fun. Oh, that's one of the nicest things someone could say. I never looked at the clock the whole time. Got me right here, brother.
Oh, somebody just got in here.
Would you send me the Torah? You have the Torah.
Who said you sent me the Torah?
Prepper Trucking. Would you send me the Torah? It's the first part of the Bible. It's the part before the baby shows up there in the middle. But
he might not know it. I mean, when I was a Christian, I did not know the Torah.
That's true. So, that's true.
Yeah. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy.
Yeah. It's those laws that Moses wrote down at the beginning of the book.
Yep. All the books before Joshua.
All right, good man. We appreciate you so much. T-shirts are coming. That seems like it was a million years ago that we talked about T-shirts.
Did we talk about T-shirts
We
today?
talked
No, that was
about it
yesterday.
a long time ago.
I said yesterday.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yep.